Hey, it looks like I'm in here this time. I'm in the show for once. Cool. Considering last time I screwed up, I'm here with no Blaine. So welcome back to the Words of Paradise show. I hope you guys have watched a lot of anime this week because I spent the last 48 hours getting caught up after not watching anything for 3 weeks. My computer screwed up. How's everyone doing? Alex Moore in the chat. Jim and I are in the chat. Serrano, so I'm sure is waiting backstage at some point or another. Let's see. A lot of folks not showing up on Restream, but I saw... Yeah, Veritex, how you doing, Veritex? Anonymous, Michael D3, DJ Ronnie G. Appreciate all you guys for showing up. What have you guys all been up to? Leon say that's what the mask is. I'm not familiar with the reference, but that's what the mask is. So, you know, happy to help. Appreciate giving you guys what you need. I'm behind with a couple of episodes of the 4 I'm watching. Hey, welcome to the party, buddy. Orange looks good on you. How you doing? The bird's name is Hondo. It's Hondo Onaka. And if you're not quiet, you're gonna have to leave, buddy. You were doing so well all afternoon. What's going on now?
All right, my ears are in.
Hey, do you remember when Dream had that fight with the voice?
Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome once again to Blaine's Escape Corner, our little corner of the internet. We get together, we talk about things that help us escape. I am your late host, Blaine. And we're gonna talk. We got some good things to enjoy. So let's crack open the 3-liter carton of sake and get to it. Bunger, you're back in.
Okay, so as I was saying, in the video, Dream releases where he's like recording Gumball as he's super drunk. At one point, he's like. Fucking Gumball's like defending his honor. He's like, "Oh my god, no, I'm not stupid. I also have ADHD." And he's like, "Yeah, but because you said that's what the mask is, I think you're a faggot."
and why a gamer word? Like not even a minute in. What?
Seriously,
because you were 10 minutes late. Okay, you don't get respect.
I don't get respect. Okay, all right. Bye. Have fun in the back room for a minute.
Put him in timeout. Don't drop gamer words until you're at least an hour into the stream.
Yeah,
you know
gotta wait so the computer can't hear that. Now I gotta like put the little stupid YouTube marker on it so I can go back and take care of that. All right, Leon, it's good to talk to you.
You as well. After last like 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever all that computer stuff was happening on my end. My computer was wrecked for like 6 days afterwards. I was like,
when you zapped away and you were like, I guess I'm out on this one. It was like, what happened?
Yeah,
it really was a computer problem.
Yeah, I went to restart my computer and it restarted in like rainbow screen of death. And I freaked out and I restarted again. Well, like it wasn't a blue screen. It was all right, Hondo, you're gonna have to leave in just a second. I'm gonna finish telling the story, then I'm gonna kick you out. But yeah, so it came up with like this rainbow screen, and so I restarted again, and it needed to update. It's like, okay, cool. It's just an update thing, no big deal. So I updated
updates I can do.
All my settings were gone, like all my OBS settings, all my stream settings, all my mic settings. And it took like 6 days to redo.
The fresh
everything.
Computer, all of a sudden, you're like, what happened here?
Rough. All right, you gotta go, Hondo. You're making too much noise. Say bye to Hondo, everybody.
All right, bye, Hondo. We'll talk about your favorite show later. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get some of these reviews pulled up here. What do we got? We got 1, 2, 3. Yes, we do. Alrighty. Let's look at our review angle here. We got Hokkaido Gals, super adorable.
Oh, the most recent ending has me on pins and needles. Oh my goodness. Like I have no idea how everything always turns out fine so far in this show, but is this going to be when it doesn't? Like, I'm genuinely nervous. The only show I'm not caught up on, by the way, is Snack Boss Away. I didn't get caught, but
are we ever caught up on Snack Boss Away?
Right, exactly. But oh man, I'm
welcome.
Legitimately, Hokkaido Girls is my second favorite show we're watching this season. I'm on pins and needles with this recent ending.
Exactly. You fall into my tits, you take my soda, and you go out with another girl. Kadu milf. That was the best way that this could be misconstrued immediately, was that She doesn't catch him. She doesn't see him. But then she gets a text from her mom about it.
I knew that would like because the mom's like, "Hey, I'm going out. Do you need anything?" And she was asleep. I was like, "Oh fuck, the mom's gonna catch
No, yeah.
worse." Like, and so for the next 10 minutes, I've just got this anticipation, like, don't let it happen, don't let it happen. But it's an anime. I know what's gonna happen. And
Exactly.
And then the episode ends. I'm like, fuck.
Because you know that if me had seen them, she would not have thought it was a date. Like.
Right.
Yeah,
They're not
because she's
holding
walked
hands
in
or
on him and
anything.
the other chick like all the time. Like it's always she is the most like forward thinking on all this. Just like yeah, it's whatever. And then we get mom who's like D, and she drops the D word, and you're like oh no.
Also, Granny can piss off. Granny trying to ruin friendships and whatnot. Like, damn, Granny.
I am so like we still don't have any info on why Granny's even got the boy up there, right? Like what happened that brought him up from Tokyo?
In the first episode, he said his dad does business, and so I thought that he and his father both moved there.
Right, that was my thought as well. But it's
I
obviously not. So maybe his dad's in the Yakuza and now she's keeping him safe up here. Like I'm just there's so many things that it could be. But I'm excited because this is ultimately his fault. He could have said, "Oh, by the way, yeah, we live next to each other, and she's super smart. She's gonna tutor me so that I don't get kicked off of
he's
Hokkaido."
Such an idiot, nice guy. His whole thing is like, well, I don't want her to worry about me because she absolutely would. And to its credit, she would. Like we know that she would absolutely beat herself up over the fact that the whole studying thing, his grandma getting upset, that was all her fault. But even so, there's a limit, dude. You can't protect everyone's feelings all the time.
Yeah, it's okay to let people know that something that they did led to you having to work harder. Like that is perfectly all right. But I'm wondering too, it could also like obviously like dumb kid. You're like, yeah, dumb kid who cares about these people, doesn't want to like have that feeling. But also the Japanese idea of not wanting to be a burden on other people as well. So coming from both ends, she would feel that way because she doesn't want to feel like a burden, and he doesn't want to make her feel like a burden. So he's just gonna keep like everything about it is just so like I get it. Usually I don't get it. Usually it's like just say it and it fixes the problem, which is what it If she confronts him like, hey, are you and her like really close now? And he's like, oh yeah, she helped me like study so that I could get top grades, and she, in
and not have to
going
leave
on
you.
a date.
At least say be like, if I didn't score in the top 10, I had to leave Hokkaido. Like,
yeah,
this show has been so good about conflict resolution in the same episode for every single episode up to this point, which is why now when there's an actual cliffhanger, it has me like so
like oh,
frustrated.
No. Oh, I love it though. The new gal's great. This anime could go any way at this rate. Yep, that's true. Now Fu is just gonna go off with the sweaty gamer girl, and Home Slice is gonna hang out with ancient clothes lover.
His grandma understood that one just fine, but she doesn't understand studying.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell, Granny?
I don't think he told Granny. Remember, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to tea with a friend."
Well, no. I mean, when new girl falls into his chest, and when he answers the door, she sees him in the clothes, and she buries herself in his chest, and then Granny walks out, and she's all like, "Oh, I slipped, and he was nice enough to catch me." And Granny was all like, "Oh, okay, I misread the situation."
You know what it is? It's the way she says it. She is speaking proper classical Japanese, whereas the Garu is speaking the worst slang the most Zoomer slang you can imagine. So just hearing words in that polite like upper tone is gonna put Granny on the back foot of, oh wait a minute, maybe this will be my progeny eventually.
But I'm loving the show. It's great.
Yeah.
It's second to best after Sasuke and Peeps thus far. So
Yep. I think I prefer Hokkaido Gals currently. Sasuke and Peeps, though, it's so much fun.
It really is.
And especially with the end of this episode. That you saw it coming. No, like, this is such a good Chekhov's gun show. And not even like actual like Chekhov's gun, like there's a thing on the wall and then someone has to use it, but that they say a thing and you're like, oh, that'll come up later. Like
Yeah.
very very good at that. Oh, I'll come back later and nail the top down so no one can mess with it. Oh, someone's gonna mess with it. Like it's so. It's just I like it.
It's the right amount of clever and predictable. Like it
Mhm.
straddles that line, beautifully. Yeah, I'm absolutely adoring this show for. I mean, like for more reasons than just the bird, but that does like when we were watching today's episode or the most recent episode, that I should say. And like she, the princess hears hears Peeps, talk, and then he starts squawking to try and cover it up. That pissed Hondo off, and Hondo started squawking like
You get the
angrily
4D
at
experience. Amazing. Yeah, so in this episode we have a new rule. So the king is gonna Hunger Games his kingdom off to one of his sons, based on how well they can do, as opposed to who came out of the Yoo-hoo first.
Dude, the
And,
balls on Sasuke, by the way, when he's in the dungeon with Mark and looks to that guard and he's all like, I care for this man more than the prince. And he's like, how dare you say that? I could tell the prince. He's like, do it. I was like, oh my God, Sasuke from 7 episodes ago would not have said something like that. We were seeing some growth.
Yeah, I mean, you remember his I got to do my business dealings, and he gets that weird face like every time. It's got like the big eyes and everything. Like when he said I'll solve this with politics instead, I was expecting that guy to come back with like the I'll make you happy and you'll do what I want, but to be like, actually, I'm a bit more Machiavellian than that. I know how these things work. I've read a book in my lifetime. Like it's although
yeah, I'm so impressed with Sasuke right now, I won't lie.
The one thing where I was like, duh, was like, how are we getting our money back into like the future world? What about gold? And it's like, no shit, gold. What was that? Not your first thought? Like,
right? I thought the same thing. I thought that they were all because they made the reference to like, oh, it's been difficult to exchange this into yen. I'm like, have you guys not just been doing gold exchange? Because that's what I assume.
We buy gold. Go to any corner.
Maybe Japan doesn't have we buy gold pawn shops. I don't know. You've been there, do they?
I mean, maybe. How do you say we buy gold?
We buy goldaroo.
Like kin. I know kin is gold because kin sakana is goldfish. Anyway, also, I still love there's something so funny about a show where a guy is surrounded with lollies and he's just like, get me out of this situation, please. Like, just leave. Like, it's just a bird. He talks, slow, keep it a secret. Now leave. Like, it's so.
Twitter Puritans would love this show. Brittany Venti would adore this show. Like,
it's so funny. I mean, would she?
Also,
I mean, being a lolly herself, I don't know.
Right. Like, I also am very impressed. Like, I don't know if impressed is the right word, but like, I have a genuine emotional resonance when I watch Sasuke and Viscount Mueller interact with one another. Like, there's like a legit brotherly bond there at this point that I like seeing them interact. When Viscount was like, hey, I recommend you taking your wares to this other noble house because they've got higher standing than me. He's like, no, I'm gonna keep doing my business with you. Like, yeah. I love it. I love seeing it.
Really good. Really good. I will just say, in Snack Basue, we got 2 people meeting at the bar that we haven't seen meet before, and it's hilarious. I would not have, if you had not told me the interaction you would get in this episode, I would not have guessed it. I would not have been like, yeah, that's where they're gonna go with this this character. I would not have been there, but it's great. It's funny. There's some classic gaming and some other anime references in the first couple episodes that are. I even think they brought over the actual voice actor for the guy that makes a cameo. So it's a fantastic episode.
Yeah, I'm going to be caught up with Snack Boss Away by Funtime Friday. That way I can officially be caught up with everything. I mean, there'll probably be 1 or 2 episode drops between on tomorrow and Friday if I had to guess. But all in all, Snack Boss Away is the last one, so I think it'll be. I'm going to be down.
Nice. All right, let's check out our list. I have not. When I went on, it said, "Oh, episode 7 of Metallic Rouge." There was no episode 7 for me to see, so I probably won't be able to see it until
until
Friday.
I got so bored with it that I dropped it.
Oh, have fun with that.
Metallic mid.
Metallic Raugi.
I'm still enjoying it. It's probably my second. Like, I'm enjoying everything I'm watching, but like in order, it's probably my second least favorite. It's the most I so far. If I dropped anime, I'd be tempted to. I'd still be going with it, but I'd be tempted to drop it. But no, I'm still liking it enough. I still think the characters are well rounded enough and interesting enough. I still think the world is interesting enough. But I'm normally not a fan of the binge model. I think I would appreciate this one more if I was binging it as opposed to watching weekly because
Oh yeah,
is
you've been gone for so long. I don't think we got to talk about episode 6, but it really did, because it
5
is
or 6.
an
Last one we talked
original
about was
anime,
4.
right? So it really
Yeah.
felt like we got to get these people here, and we don't quite know the exacts of the next steps. And they wanted to just have a, let's just put a, have a travel episode in, and it felt very very light on
As
substance.
story. Like
Yeah.
it felt light on continuing the narrative. Because the last episode we
Exactly.
talked about, I believe, was 4. So we didn't talk about 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 I loved. 5 opened up a lot of the behind the scenes, along with when that puppet is going into her memories and everything.
That was
Um,
super great.
Yeah, really good all through that. And then 6 is just like, all right, we gotta just travel time, and you're like, this is like a loading screen. You made an episode out of a loading screen. Why did you do this?
And now, as a fan of John Carpenter's The Thing, I did like what they were doing with it just because I was like, oh, I've seen this done before. And like, I like when it's executed well. And so I will give it credit there. When she like full on kicks the fucking dog, I was like, oh shit, they're going there. Like, there were moments I enjoyed, but as a whole,
beat
the
it,
episode,
yeah.
yeah.
That was great, because I was expecting it to be like oh, I'll just do this, and then to go like threaten. It's like the first one turns out to be it, but then just to go down the line beating everyone, I was like, oh man, this is weird.
I want to see Rouge's weakness, and I feel like episode 5 teased that because she has been a bit OP in the series so far. And then episode 5 teased that, oh no, she's probably got some psychological stuff that you can use to exploit her. And then so far they haven't. Now, granted, it's only been one episode since then, but Rouge, I'm getting tired of seeing her like beat the other big bad within the last 5 minutes of the episode with minimal effort.
Mm-hmm.
You already know it's going to be an evil Rouge.
Evil Rouge. No, it'll be
Rouge
Joker. He'll like
Black
turn into her
Star.
dad and be like, oh, actually, you can't touch me now because I look like your papa.
No, the dad's dead.
Jim and I, the interview was awesome. Chuck was great. We spent 30 or so, 30, 40 minutes talking about the voice acting industry. And then the last hour and a half before taking questions from people, we just went down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. It was awesome.
All
Chuck
the way
was great
down.
to have on.
He's not exaggerating. We're talking about the towers.
When I when I went into Discord and I was like, Leon's episode is brought to you by Who They, I was not kidding, because there was so much they. I was like, oh man, it'd be cool if we would get deeper into these conspiracies to actually talk about the theys instead of saying who they each time. But going backwards on that a little bit, I really liked when he said him and, was it Marky or?
Yeah, it was Jamie Marchi. Yep.
Yeah, when they were in the writing room together, that when they would bounce jokes off each other, their personal like opinion jokes didn't land on the other person. So the only jokes that left the room were jokes that they both liked. I was like, that's diversity in the writing room.
Sense.
That's
that
what we
makes
need.
so much sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like his answers, the difference between someone like him and somebody like Jamie Marchi, for example, is that his answers, at least from my estimation when talking with him, came off as like genuine. I disagreed with a lot of what he said, but at least I felt like he actually believed what he was saying, as opposed to when you see interviews like Jamie Marchi and whatnot, it comes off as very, look at me, I'm the greatest person in the room, I'm on a power trip, whatever it may be. As opposed
I think that's
to,
genuine for her. I just don't like it.
Fair enough. Because I completely disagree with him about the diversity in film in the 80s and 90s and whatnot. But by the same token, he I considering before the show, I let him know. I was like, hey, just so you know, this is an uncensored show, free speech. I'm going to ask you, like, if there's anything that's off topic or off limits, let me know now because I want to respect that. He's like, no, you can ask me absolutely anything. I was like, all right, cool, fair enough. So he at least claimed he knew what he was getting into before he went into it, and I appreciate that about him.
I think he might be like somewhat incorrect, but there was diversity of thought allowed much more
Right.
back then because there was less strict top-down control.
Hey, what's up?
There is a
Lofty?
lot more of that now, where the very top of the studios are checking off things in terms of what you're allowed to say and whatnot like that.
Well, and I mean, I didn't want all of the interview to be like talking about the anime industry because I'm sure he gets that all the time at cons and
I'm talking more generally. I guess anime too.
Right. Well, what I mean is that like I wanted because I knew people would want to have talk about the localizer stuff. I knew that a lot of people that were watching the stream know that I make localizer videos, and so I figured that would be a hot topic. But it wasn't something that I was really interested in talking about much. Like I wanted to get into the shit that YouTube doesn't want you talking about. But I told him I was like, hey, we probably can't do that until about an hour in because YouTube sucks. But we will get to it. So just bear with me because I really want to talk about your hepatitis B posts on X. Like. He was super cool.
That was hilarious. I liked it. Again, I think a lot of conspiracy theory discussions could be fixed with just not playing the pronoun game. Like just tell me who. Just tell me what. Like cuz there's people you can name.
Yeah, I dipped out in the conspiracy part.
Yeah, I stuck with it cuz I love it. But it's like, yeah, there are people that are like, oh, shoot, this means my job if I let out that I knew something was happening or if I knew this was coming or if I knew that happened. So, like, there are definitely distinct people that need to be called out. And anytime you just say they, I feel like you're just giving them a pass. And being
I was
like,
surprised
well,
he name dropped Alex Jones, though. You would think that would be career suicide. He said that like one of the first things. He's like, oh, yeah, no, I was protesting the Federal Reserve with Alex Jones in 1997. I was like, Christ, he just admitted to hanging out with Alex Jones. I bet Funimation doesn't like that.
I pulled up last time. There's a clip of Alex Jones outside of, I think it's the Waco compound. Or no, not the Waco compound. The
Ruby Ridge.
Is it? No, it's not Ruby Ridge. It's the one that it was around for a while. Wendigoon did a video on it, and he pulled up. He's like, "You'll never guess this guy," and it was Alex Jones in like the '90s, and like you're like, "Wow, he's had a lot of growth since then."
He got around.
The Bundy Ranch. I don't know. It's one that's weird because like. After Ruby, after Waco, nobody wanted to actually go in and assault them, so they literally just parked outside, and people would just bring them like groceries. So like it lasted for like technically 15 years or something like that. Just imagine you're in a standoff with the government for years. I do pay you with insults, Lucifer.
My kind of people. Speaking of, later on in the show tonight, I went on a Twitter argument with Oliver Gia, if you guys know who that is, and I would like to get your guys' opinions on how. Jaya, yeah, I'd like to get your guys' opinions on how it went down. But we can do that much later.
This is becoming a new theme of the show. I got Angry Canadian in the VIP chat. Like, what did I say? Because he's like trying to help this guy who's going to Japan for a bit. We got Lofty last night, who's like, I got these crazy Twitter weirdos after me. Now you, what?
Yeah.
No,
what is
first
going
we should
on?
talk about how vaccine companies will push extra vaccines to get more money. To the moon landing is fake. To 9/11 was fake. To they are going to prove that God is fake and create a one world government by showing a hologram to everybody across the world in their native language.
Who they?
I don't know.
Okay, to be fair, we didn't say that 9/11 was fake. We said that 9/11 was an inside job, which I do wholeheartedly believe.
You
said
blew up the towers.
Do
The first
you
thing he
agree
said
on the
was
difference
9/11
between
was
an
fake.
inside job and a refusal to react appropriately to known intelligence? Do you put a delineation between the two?
Repeat that sentence because I'm not quite sure I follow. I want to make sure I understand properly.
The difference between I know this attack is coming and I rigged the building to blow.
Well, yeah, those would be two different. I mean, technically, those would both be inside jobs in a way, but one would be far more severe than the other.
Okay,
in my
that's
opinion.
that's why I
he
asked,
said
because to
they
me
blew
one
up-
is
they
just
blew it up.
laziness, and the
No,
other
the
one
exact
is
words,
an actual
and it
inside
wasn't
job.
It was Chuck who said this, but he said it was a complete fabrication. But I
Well,
think
no, he
meant the
also
way
said he
Reese
knows
said
the towers fell. Like there were towers there, and then there's
I
not.
meant-
What
he
Chuck
said
meant,
that,
or at
but
least
I
my
was-
interpretation was that the fabrication was like the media was fabricating how the events happened, not that they didn't happen at all.
I think people that
That's
were
still
there would
wrong.
dispute that.
The greatest
I mean,
ally.
people are disputing it 23 years later because there's still all this these arguments and conversations about whether or not 9/11 was or was not, as reported. Was it just as simple as, terrorists flew planes into buildings?
The existence of a conversation does not lend credibility in my mind.
Well, no, I would say people are still talking. The fact that people are still talking about it shows there's still doubt amongst the populace. Is all I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
there's
see what you're
doubt
saying.
because there's people who don't believe anything.
Right.
It's not like I plan to listen to those people. Like, I can follow the idea that, yeah, vaccine companies will push more stuff to make more money because there's a clear line between what they would do or why they're doing something and how it benefits them, and the fact that straight up they just get more money.
Don't cut class angry. Leon will talk. Wait, when is class? Is class now or is class later? Like, because I planned on going through the top 10s and just kind of getting a brief overview with that, and then while I get set up, we can get into the Oliver and get deeper in these conversations.
I haven't watched too much anime, so I'll bounce out now after I'm done eating my sandwich. I'm gonna go wash some dishes, and I'll come back a little bit later today.
Okay, I'll see you. See you later.
I
Tonight.
also I want to give updates really while we're still talking anime on Demon Prince of Mochi House and Delicious in Dungeon. I don't know if anyone else is still watching those, but I am.
I am still
only
watching
caught up on
Demon
Delicious
Prince.
in Dungeon, so you can do that first.
Yeah, do Delicious in Dungeon.
I'm still really enjoying it. I think that the episodes are slowly but surely finally getting to have an actual narrative. There's starting to be actual in-depth character progression. We see, like, for example, Senshi went from being just the I know everything, I'm basically the Deus Ex Machina of every episode, to he actually failed and had to learn stuff, and he's starting to get along better and have a more understanding with the elf and realizing that magic isn't necessarily always the easy way out. And there's been legitimate character growth that I'm enjoying seeing, especially with the Chill Chuck as well. I still don't care for Laos, however you say it, very much. That like the main human dude, he's like my least favorite of the.
Like, he
of the
hasn't
group,
had like that
but-
much focus other than the living armor.
Right. But all in all, I think the Delicious in Dungeon is actually starting to get closer and closer to having a narrative, as opposed to like more than just the overarching, hey, let's slowly get back to the dragon to save my sister.
It is progressing, even if there's not like a interesting plot, because I mean it's simple. It's the fact that they're trying to rescue his sister at the bottom of the dungeon. That's why there's not like anything else going on. It's not like there's a greater enemy they're facing. There's no plot against them. They're just going on their journey to get there. A lot like Free Run, there isn't actually an opposing force against them. They're just going to reach their location. They're just leaving on their journey. It's just telling the story of that. And I think the characterization is excellent. I love everything they've done.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like hot take. My favorite character is Marcel so far. I think Marcel is.
Everybody loves Marcel. I think
She's amazing.
I think the dub is very good too. I think the dub is really good. I would recommend checking that out.
Yeah, the dub is this is the only show this season I'm watching dubbed. Just because of the
live
simplicity
dubbing
of it being on
every week.
Netflix.
Nice. Way
And-
to go, Bang Zoom.
Let's see. AC is the Steve Irwin of Cards for Blaine.
Yeah, he's trying to buy Pokemon cards from Big Camera to prove whether or not what happened to me at the Big Camera in Shibuya is how it works.
Alex
Shibuya
Moore
is an
agrees it's
inside
probably
job.
good. There's like 5 more. Oh, there's only 5 episodes of Free Run left. That's I know that a lot of people are really enjoying that. I'll need to get on that.
Free Run straight up one of my new favorite shows. Yeah.
AC, do you want to jump in now to talk about Oliver What's His Who? Or is that going to be longer than a 20-minute discussion?
Yeah, I'll see you guys a little bit.
See us, Ronos.
We
Let's
hate
run us.
John Oliver.
What kind of thing are we doing with Oliver who?
Oliver Gia. He is he's a journalist that lives in Japan. I don't think he's Japanese. His wife is Japanese, but he lives in Japan, does journalism in Japan. Got a massive X following, or at least by my standards, and he's posted some good stuff, some stuff that I disagree with, and he and I got into a bit of a debate on whether or not firearms should be allowed apparently in Japan, which wasn't the argument I was making to begin with, specifically about Japan, but I feel like he was misunderstanding the argument. Basically, it boiled down to an argument of whether or not Japan should be more like the U.S., even though that wasn't what I was trying to say. So I want your guys' take on the argument.
Okay.
Overlord?
Dangers in My Heart Season 2 is on top. Ragnar's got a bunch of votes for some reason. Solo leveling. I don't understand these freaks. What are they doing? How far do I have to go before 8th we get a good quality show, only getting 3% of the show? Nice to see Sign of Affection pulling ahead of Free Ren. Wish Serranos was here so I could rub his face in it. Chain Soldier right behind all those. 12th, we got Hokkaido Gals. Skimichi. Gushing is still too far up. Tales of Wedding Rings. I'm going to be scrolling for it. There it is. Sasuke and Peeps way down here. Metallic Rouge, Buchigiri. So sad. Buchigiri so good, but no one's watching it right now. And then all of the rest of the site doesn't care about it.
Was that
Annie
one
Trends,
for-
top 10. Dangers in My Heart, Solo Leveling, 7th Time Loop, Classroom of the Elite, Sign of Affection, good to see it climbing up. Can't wait to get a little bit more exciting there. And then Hokkaido Gals in the top 10. Love to see it, even though they are moving down. We got the one that's funky crazy. Any big move? Ooh, we got a big movement right here. Solo leveling for some reason. That 4th episode, I guess. Maybe Ronan was right. I doubt it. Scrolling down to see what else I actually like in this. Oh my god, everything I like is down at the bottom. What is this? All you want, whenever you want. That is some gay manga right there. Looking at Japanese animation TV ratings, Sazai-san on top. Of course it is. Longest running animation of all time, followed by Detective Conan, which is probably the 2nd longest running animation of all time. That is ridiculous. How do they keep making more of them? Nobody knows. 3.7 for Freyren, followed by 3.3 for Firefighter Daigo. Nice job, Brokeback Daigo. Doraemon up there, One Piece. Wonderful Precure. Would not have expected that, but I guess it is a kid's show, and kids show always rate high on these. Oshiri Tante literally means butt detective, and his face looks like a butt. All right, let's get into Twitter with Words of Paradise.
Yeah, with that guy.
Let me, so I'll share my screen and show so this was the initial tweet by him. It was, I would rather live in a society where such, let me make sure. Yeah, okay. So it was, do you support owning a legal weapon to defend your family? And he put, I would rather live in a society where such paranoia isn't necessary, but I'm aware that America, especially, and some other Western countries are not those societies. So I respect the rights to bear arms. I'm glad I live in a country where civilian gun ownership isn't needed. So my response was that I appreciate the optimism and respect of the rights, but even in the most peaceful of societies, civilian gun ownership is always needed because you can never trust the government to always be benevolent protectors. Better to have and not need than need and not have. So that was my initial argument. Notice how it had nothing to do with Japan or anything like that. I'm just talking the world over.
And I think, too, one thing I would critique on what you just said is... because I feel like you said because you can never trust the government to always be benevolent. I think you're really carrying your conversation with you there, with Chuck. But beyond that, I have never seen a cop stop a crime. I have never seen a cop stop a break-in, stop a robbery, stop an assault. No, you as a cop created crime. You enabled crime actively.
Kind of true.
So
yeah.
Even outside of a malicious or ignorant and malicious government, there is still the ability to stop crime as an individual with a firearm.
But now, mind you, the reason I bring up the government aspect, and that's what I go into a little bit later, is that there's never been a government that didn't, at some point or another, abuse its citizens. But either way, he said that's the exact kind of paranoia I'm talking about, which doesn't exist in Japan. Now, I have an issue with his wording because he uses the word paranoia. I said I wouldn't call it paranoia, though. Paranoia is unjustified by definition. All of human history, Japan and every other country / society, proves suspicion of government is warranted. Because, as we all know, even in Japan, they've done some fucked up shit to their citizens.
Yeah, there was a whole period of time where they couldn't have any weapon.
Right.
Welcome, Angry Canadian. How goes it?
It goes well. I didn't know you guys are going to jump into this right now.
Yeah, I figured it would be easier to do it before your class than after.
Well, it depends on how long it goes, but yeah, I appreciate it.
It's all right. You can defend your champion.
I don't need to defend him. He can defend himself.
Okay, good.
Which one is your champion? Is it me or is it Oliver? I'm curious.
Neither of you.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You guys are grown men. You guys can figure it out. But I'm here to provide context if needed.
I'm teasing him because earlier he said he likes Oliver. He cracks him up. So
I like Oliver
I'm
as well,
pushing on
honestly.
him the requirement of defending Oliver because I get to do that.
Well, to give you a quick update on the Pokemon cards, if you want me to do it now, I can. or
Oh
I
hell
can
yeah!
wait.
Hit me with it.
I did the same exact thing. I bought a booster pack and I bought a starter deck, and they didn't give me any grief for not having a members card.
Nothing.
And I bought it without an issue.
That's so annoying.
So here's the thing. I think when they ask you, Blaine, do you have a members card? You don't need to say, like, if you just say no, that's it. And then they shouldn't push
We
you
did
onto
say
getting
no
one.
though. We did
But
say
they
no,
were-
and they pushed the like sign up thing on us, and it was like we can't sign up. We don't have a Japanese phone number.
So maybe it's that specific big camera, or like, because you said it was in Shibuya, right?
Yeah, it was the one right there in Shibuya. So that's the only
So-
other thing I can think of. If you were able to walk into one and get them anyway, the last thing is the Shibuya location.
Yeah. So I think you just have to go to a different location that isn't like super foreign or heavy, and just
Right.
see if you can buy it there. Because this is 2 different stores now I've been able to do it at.
Nice. Congratulations. All right.
My bad, Leon.
No,
No,
you're
no
good.
bad. Do you why would Oliver is he anti-gun? I'm unfamiliar with this guy.
Well, no, so
No,
and that was
no.
he's not anti-gun. I mean, his initial statement, the one that I retweeted, was because he was talking about when he's in America that he respects the Second Amendment, and I was like, I appreciate the fact that you respect that. However, he was talking about how living in a society like Japan, there's no need for that sort of thing, and he would prefer that. And don't get me wrong, that's a great thing to prefer, but that's not what human history has led us to believe the outcome will always be, and that's why this next statement was. He said that kind of paranoia is unjustified in 21st century Japan. Living your life based on fear that the government is going to turn fascist is by definition paranoia. Introducing civilian gun ownership to a country like Japan, which doesn't have that culture, wouldn't bode well. Now, mind you, he's been the only one bringing up Japan. I have not, because I'm talking about the world over. And I said, why would 1 century of relative peace be the deciding factor over centuries of human nature, fascism, control, and governments abusing their citizens? It's not paranoia to acknowledge history. You keep using the word fear. I don't believe that this is an accurate word. I'm not afraid of any government becoming fascist. I'm pragmatic because I know history is how history has always played out. There's no reason to believe it won't happen again.
Hmm.
And there was way more to this conversation. Did he delete it or?
Oh, did you get to Brocked? Or did he retweet you?
Oh, no. Okay, never mind. It continued through here. He says, you're projecting an American-centric view. Japan has never had a culture of civilian gun ownership like the U.S. You're comparing apples to oranges. They're 2 completely different societies, especially now in the 21st century.
I mean, civilian gun ownership versus civilian sword ownership. There's a pretty easy comparison to be made there.
And I believe one of us bring that. Either me or the Gord King ended up jumping in on this as well.
Because whose champion is the Gord King?
Let's see. He says most Japanese people see gun culture that exists in the U.S. and are horrified by it. It's not a thing. It's just not a thing that Japan. Wait, it's not. It's just not a thing in Japan and never will be. You need to understand that.
That's
I said
just
Japan
untrue. The number
I
of
say right here,
Japanese
Japan has
people that
added culture.
hold on. The number of Japanese people that love airsoft, and anytime I bring up that I used to work for a gun shop, are like, "Oh, so good!" Like they just think it's so cool to hear about real guns. Like that's just not a true statement.
Well, I mean, I tell him Japan has had a culture of weapon ownership. Obviously, I was talking about swords, and an armed populace of those lower class isn't something I say new to America. I rephrase, or rather exclusive to America is what I should have said. He says, Japan's had nothing to the extent or scope of America. The most is farmers who use rifles to defend their crops against bears and boars. Again,
I'm so
apples to
stuck on
oranges.
guns.
I know. That's my point. Is I couldn't get him to recognize that we were talking about, just weapon ownership of those who are of the non-political class. And he says you need to stop thinking that every country functions like the U.S. But again, I'm confused where he's getting that logic since I have not brought up the U.S. or talked about the U.S. policies. This is such a
Interesting.
strange argument to me. Let's see. I said, you keep assuming what I'm doing, the lens I'm looking at is American. I've never asserted, nor do I believe that every country functions like America. In fact, I said the opposite. I'm simply acknowledging history. I mean, am I wrong to make the assumption or to make the assertion that every government, or at least almost every government in human history, has abused its citizens?
Yeah, one form of another. Maybe not all of them uniformly, but yeah, there's always some government abuse of something.
Yeah, I mean, unless you just had this perfect, beautiful government that was awesome, and then guess what? They got conquered by another government at some point that did end up abusing the citizens. Like, it does always
The
inevitably
one
come.
thing I would say to this whole thing is, have you explicitly said swords and guns, or has it just been ambiguous?
I said I didn't say swords. I said Japan has had a culture of weapon ownership. I assumed since he lives in Japan, he knew I meant sword. That should have been. I probably should have clarified more there, but it's still true. Like, if he can't assume that that's what I mean, or can't understand that's what I mean when I say a culture of weapon ownership about a country that's literally probably the katana is like the most famous sword of all time. Period. So.
Yeah.
I would think if he was a journalist and that he would be able to pick up on what that means, but then maybe
I would think you could, but like sometimes you get the red haze and you tunnel in on. What do you mean guns in Japan? Like, even though you say weapon clearly, or we've all had those arguments where we get like an hour in and then you're like, wait a minute. Did you think I said refrigerator at the beginning of this? Like, just because I said machine, like, it happens all the time. So I think that's the only thing on your side where a bit of clarification could have either made him be real dumb and, like, not believe in the Edo period sword outlawing, or to have him be like, I guess there is some kind of connection there, but I do like that it's not a firearm, or, clarify his position, right?
Right, and what got me was he kept calling my view American-centric. Now, mind you, I didn't say I was American. I don't have my location in my bio, so this is an assumption he was making. But him saying that civilian gun ownership is always needed is in fact a very American-centric view that isn't applicable to Japan. I respect the Second Amendment when I'm in the U.S., but I'm glad Japan, the country I live in, is a society that doesn't require it. That's my view. And so I respond with, it's not American-centric. It's a statement based on observable history the world over, hence the reason why many non-Americans hold the same belief. As for living in a country that doesn't require it, it doesn't require it currently, which is great. That's truly a good thing. It's something I respect and admire about Japan, but that doesn't mean that will always be the case, nor has it always been the case. I'm sure you are well aware of Japan's bloody history, and when that time does eventually come again, the fact remains the same that it's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it. And I think that's where
the emperor is the emperor because of guns. Like, it's not even what is that? 140 years ago? When did Meiji Revolution start? I don't even think it was that far.
1860s, wasn't it?
1868. Yeah. So what is that? 150 years ago. And the Meiji won because of a lot of guns.
Yeah, it was a very strange debate to have, because I don't understand why. Again, is the view? I guess the question I have is the view of civilian gun ownership American-centric? Because I've never once thought of it as American-centric, but that could be because I'm American. But based on my experience,
if you go on the internet and you say guns are necessary because governments suck, I know you're either American or wish you were American. Like, there is nobody in the rest of the world that says that openly.
But how is that not just an assessment of history is my question.
It's an assessment of history, but we're the ones that solved it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It is still an American solution to the history.
Anglo Canadian, do you have any clarifications thus far, or anything to that effect?
Being that you also are in a gun-free area.
I hate that term. Let's see. How do I say this? So he's coming at it from like a typical Japanese person's perspective on it, as far as like there's no reason for us to own guns because we don't really need to defend ourselves because it's the job of the government or the police to do that.
He
And
literally
the
says
problem
that
is,
right here. We have the police and
yeah,
military for that. Like,
yeah, but that is typical Japanese people viewpoint, is that they pay all this money, these taxes to the government and to the police. I mean, the police is actually owned by the government, and so therefore they are held to a high standard to be able to protect us, and that's why like the policing in Japan is like it's one of the best in the world as far as like the respect that they give people, even if they're like chasing them down the street because the police know they have like an image they have to uphold. Otherwise, the local people are going to be upset with them. But as far as like the Japanese mentality, because I've talked to my wife about it, I'm like, yeah, I have firearms in the U.S. They're in my name and all this other stuff, and she's just like appalled or like confused or can't even grasp the concept of like owning one to be able to defend yourself because she didn't grow up with that like ingrained in her like we did as Americans or I'm a former Canadian but I still grew up in America with that culture. So it's a huge to me it's a big cultural difference, and that's why he's arguing from the Japanese culture side of things is that they don't see that as like a
therein
necessity.
lies my question,
And
though, because maybe you can answer this. Because I asked him this, or at least I made this statement multiple times. I did not bring up Japan. Everything that has to do with Japan is either me rebuttaling him when he brings it up, or him bringing it up. Because my argument is that this is a net positive, regardless of what country you are in, because this has been the case of governments and how they abuse their citizens the world over. It's not just a Japan or America thing. Like my best friend, I bring up his Chinese wife all the time. When she sits me down, explains to me things about China, is it shocking to hear? Yes, but can I take that information and wrap my head around it and be like, okay, from this point of view, I do understand that. I concede the point. It's like that's if you were to tell your wife, hey, look at how all of history has worked in terms of kings and queens and governments and regimes abusing their citizens. Can you see an argument for civilian gun ownership to fight back against oppression? Would she at least be able to understand the concept? Because this guy clearly can't.
yeah, so what you're arguing about, I totally get it. It's a necessary thing for a populace, like what is it, an armed populace? Is an honest populace, but that's more for like interpersonal uh, situations. But no, you're completely right about how if the civilians are armed in case a government becomes tyrannical, like that is a net positive. And but it's again, I think it goes back to the whole cultural thing. Like in Japan, I'm not a big Japanese history guy, so I have to double check. They never really had to have a situation like the U.S. had. The U.S. is a younger country, right? So like you would think that Japan would have more history of like people. Well, actually, they do have the history, taking over each other's lands and whatnot, because it was before the unification of Japan, right? It was all these shoguns and like they're taking over
And
each
even
other's
after
lands.
the unification, there was the Meiji Revolution. There was another war, but it
Yeah,
usually was lord on lord combat. The like
yeah.
farmer revolutions and like stepping up against your local lord or even the emperor was like very not normal. Even
But
the Sengoku era, that was that like battle for who's going to be the next shogun, wasn't a battle to overthrow the emperor. It was emperor is not a position of real governing power. I don't want to be that. I'm going to be the shogun who runs everything. So it is weird to have a country that doesn't really have a revolution per se. But I have a follow-up question, because we learned about Japanese world history class in Hokkaido Gals last week, where apparently they learned about John Calvin and predestination. What
Oh my
is
goodness, I haven't gotten to that episode yet.
is there are you familiar at all from talking to your wife about the world history that's taught in Japanese schools?
I've talked to her about it before, but I don't remember. I would have to get back with you guys on that.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
because
curious, like
we
how
used to
much
joke.
world knowledge there is there.
Well, we used to joke when we were dating. We used to joke about like Pearl Harbor and like Hiroshima. Like because like I told her one time I went to Hiroshima to like check out the monument,
I don't
and
need to hear
then
about your pillow talk.
well, but no, but it was funny because then I said like, yeah, it was pretty sad or whatever, and she's like, yeah, because you guys like bombed us. I'm like, but you guys attacked Pearl Harbor first. And it was just like one of those like kind of friendly banters.
Yeah.
So she clearly knows about that, but I don't remember what her answer was as far as like what they learned specifically in school.
Yeah, just something outside of things that they were directly involved with, right? Like we learn about Greek history, Roman history, like all kinds of European history that doesn't directly correlate with America. I am
I see what
curious
you're
with
talking about,
how
yeah.
old they are. I could see their
Yeah.
world history being like, and then we fought China, and then we fought Korea. It's them versus the world as opposed to like actual other
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah, I'll have to get I'll have to ask her about that because everyone here knows about the Three Kingdoms in China.
Of course they do.
Like that's like such so like that's an outside Japan type
Yeah.
historical thing. So as far as American history, I'll have to ask her and my other friends and see.
Or even Greek and like European history, if there's any of that in there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we know that a lack of knowledge about European history is what gave us like Dark Souls and Kingsfield, because they're so interested in like, wow, it's such an interesting medieval period, but they don't really understand it from books they read. So I've always felt like they don't have a really good, like, here's our history lesson on what happened in these other countries. But I would be interested to actually find out how true or not that is.
Yeah, I will. I'll feel some of my friends out and see what they say. But to go back to what Leon's discussing, I think bottom line, it's a big cultural difference, and I view it as an American thing to own a firearm, only because name one other country that has the same like strong cultural stance on owning a firearm as a civilian. Like I can't think of any other country off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty sure,
sure
I
Canada.
could be wrong, but I think South America has all sorts of South American countries have that.
Well, but like Veritax brings up Switzerland, and they all have it because they're all in the military. You could talk about South America, but they're like 90% of them are in the gang, so like it's not exactly a
so
civilian.
to talk about Switzerland, there's a reason behind that. So there's a book that was made by like the Swiss government, and it's like handed out to everybody. It's about how to be like self-reliant or self-independent in times of like in difficult times like natural disasters, or if a country's about to get taken over.
Yeah.
And it's like this guidebook, and they talk about like arming yourself and having food on hand and being ready for like nuclear war, like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Because of like World War II, right? All of the stuff that happened during that time.
Right, and
that
to my
book-
point, like I think their guns are all government issued.
They might be, yeah. They might be. But that book red pilled a friend of mine, a Japanese woman friend of mine, and because she
nice.
she found a Japanese translation of it, and she read it, and it like opened her eyes to like how like blind Japanese people are when it comes to like protecting themselves, protecting the community, or protecting their country from foreign invaders, or how to survive those disasters or those situations. And I was like kind of shocked because I never heard that book until I met her and she explained it to me. But she was like red pilled from that, which is really funny. So I gave it to my wife. Like she bought it as a gift for her. So my wife read it, and it kind of red pilled her a little bit because she's realized like, okay, there are some stuff we could do, but it hasn't fully red pilled her as far as like she's ready to, if we move to the US, if we ever do that, she's ready to buy a firearm as soon as we get there. Like it's not that level of like red pilling.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm
You gotta
wondering
balance it, right? Like it's good to be prepared, but like not everybody needs the pond full of fish with the chicken coop on top, and the chicken shit into the fish, and the fish eat the poop, and it's the fertilizer from the fish then makes the grain that feeds the. We don't all need to be that crazy, but having a plan is a good idea.
Well, because I'm pretty sure this is where I broke his argument, because he never responded after this one. He said, we have the police and military for that. I'm a huge advocate of Japan revisiting Article 9, but the part I focus on is we have the police and military for that, which is what, AC brought up. I said you had the police and military for that, but the police and military are the government. That's my point. What I'm referring to is what the rest of us are referring to, because a few people jumped into the argument at this point, is when the government goes bad, which human history shows inevitably happens. It has happened in Japan before, in fact, which, again, I'm sure you know. So when that inevitably happens again, how would it be better? How would it not be better for civilians to be armed? And he never responded.
Yeah, I think there might be a disconnect as far as what he's trying to understand from you.
That is my only question throughout this whole thing, is how would it not be better for civilians to be armed if this does, in fact, happen? But his whole argument was, well, Japan's a peaceful country, so this will never happen. I asked him multiple times what gives you that logic? Why should we believe it would never happen when it has happened before?
Yeah, I get it. No, I totally get what you're getting at, because it doesn't matter if it is a peaceful country. What is it? Murphy's third law, like anything can happen, will happen. So, yeah, I totally get that, and I think he's kind of locked himself into like a Japanese mentality, or mindset, I should say, because there's another girl, this Japanese conservative chick on Twitter. Her name is Yoko, and he's always like retweeting her stuff, but she's like very similar to him as far as like kind of closed-minded when it comes to Japanese culture, and not like understanding that other people around the world see Japanese culture this way, and they think that if like what Leon was doing, if Leon did the same thing to that chick online, she would react the same way that Oliver did, actually, 100%. And she's like 100% Japanese. So
Is it
because there was
a
that whole
Japanese thing that they can't? And I'm not saying this to be a douche, but like, is it a Japanese thing that they can't put themselves in the headspace of other countries? I'm not talking about America, but just like the world history, because that's what I invoked every time was look at the history of the world, and he only fixated on Japan, which again I never brought up. It was so weird to see him stay fixated on Japan when I said countries. You know, like I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say yes, because it sounds like for him and for other people I've talked to, and that other girl on Twitter, they just view it as like information, right? Like historical information to learn from, but not really apply it or think about it like we do, like how we apply it. So, yeah, I think I would say yeah, probably.
And I still follow Oliver. This wasn't like this guy's an idiot, I'm gonna fucking unfollow him. But like, no, I've seen multiple tweets of it since then. Some I agree with, some I disagree with. I do think the dude is a bit salty, because after this interaction, he posted a tweet completely independent, didn't tag me or anything, and all it said was, "I'm tired," or he said, "Conservatives talk so much crap on the left. However, but they fail to acknowledge that I've spent the last X amount of hours arguing with conservatives about gun ownership and Christianity in Japan." And I'm like, okay, that's what we were arguing about. Now, maybe you were also having this argument with multiple other people, but you could have at least tagged me, and also bold of you to assume I'm a conservative when I'm absolutely not. So,
Yeah, that made me laugh when I saw that out, because I wanted to say something to him like, that guy's not a conservative, so that might shatter everything. But yeah.
yeah, I don't want to be that arrogant who's like, oh, he was totally talking about me in that tweet. But I'm curious if he wasn't. I want to know who else he was talking about, because I didn't see any other interactions. Again, minus the two other people that jumped in on the tweet with me. So,
Well, there was one guy that was like from Europe, and he said like, I'm from this country in Europe, and I own a firearm because I'm allowed to, and it's for self-defense or whatever. And he responded saying like, well, doesn't Europe have like strange laws where if you actually like do something to somebody, they'll hold you responsible even though if you were in the right? So he responded to that guy, and I saw that, and I thought it was like kind of interesting that a non-American like was agreeing with you basically, even if you didn't see that.
yeah, I didn't, but that's good to know, because again, it was so strange to me that, and again, maybe it's because it really is an American-centric view, but like from the outside looking in, I was not looking at this from an American point of view. I was looking at this as a pragmatic, this is a world over sort of thing. If X, then Y.
Yeah, I will also say he's a big history guy. So he's talked to me because I've hung out with him several times, and he's done a lot of history for like the different wars in that the U.S. was involved in. So he's like pretty well read with his history. So I don't understand like how he forgets that I think this is American culture to privately protect yourself, and it should be something that all countries should do. It shouldn't just be an American cultural thing. So I don't know why he can't like realize that, because I thought you were laying it out pretty clearly on Twitter, but I don't know. He's pretty busy right now. Like I know he's busy right now, so maybe he caught him at a bad time. I don't know, because he's had like he's always like dealing with people that are like they're trying to trip him up on X, on Twitter, for like dumb stuff. So
Yeah,
he's like pretty hyper
He's got
defensive.
some very I for example, his views on marijuana I thought were 100% completely fair. His whole thing was like,
Oh, that made me
look,
laugh.
yeah, he's like, if it's gonna be legal, that's awesome, but I would appreciate if it wasn't, reeking out, reeking the entire city while I'm trying to walk down, and would just appreciate some clean air. And I was like, yeah, I completely agree. I'm not a weed smoker in the slightest. I'm very much pro legalization because I'm a pro freedom kind of guy. But I also would appreciate not walking downtown and smelling skunk. Like, I don't think that
we
was
should
an
have
unreasonable
just
ask.
legalized edibles. That would have fixed everything.
Yeah.
Smoke. You can smoke your brisket if you want. You can make an edible brisket, and then that's the only way you should be allowed to smoke marijuana.
The last thing I'll say is like, he's not a bad dude, and he just has everyone has their own opinions, right? And so but like as far as like his Twitter interactions, I always see him dealing with a bunch of like crazy people, like coming after him for all kinds of crazy stuff because he leans more towards the right, even though I think he's like more of a centrist. But so for those listening, like he's not like this. He's not unhinged.
Well, he's the king of engagement in that regard because I've seen him post shit that pisses off the right and the left. So he gets attacked on both sides. And which, frankly, as somebody who was also a bit of a centrist, I respect it. I do. I just disagree with him on this one thing. But, you know, it could have been a case of like maybe I was in the wrong. I would like other people's opinions on this, you know, and especially yours being in Japan like that. I'm very happy to have, you know, gotten your guys' opinions on it because it was for me, it was a strange interaction with somebody that, while I don't always agree with, normally think that it has a very, you know, balanced take. This was like the only time I've ever seen him have a take that I thought was genuinely unbalanced.
Yeah, and I'll do my diligence and ask some of my Japanese friends about like their perspective on it, and it won't be like a good poll, I guess you can say, but it'd be like some other perspectives because I have friends that are in the Japanese military, that were in the military, normal people, so I can do my research and let you guys know. But anyways, next time I see him, if he brings it up, I'll talk to him about it, and I'll let him know that you're not a conservative.
Yeah,
that made me laugh when I saw that.
Conservative. That was, again, I don't want to be arrogant. He very well may not have been talking about me because, like you say, he talks to a lot of people. But it wasn't very long after that conversation we had where he made that tweet, and I was like, you know what? If there's one thing offensive about this whole conversation we've had, it's that he's assumed I was conservative.
Yeah, that was good, dude.
But no, this has been an
Sorry, Blaine, for destroying your Waifu Wednesday.
No, you're fine. But we powered through. That was the goal. You're not destroying anything.
Geminider says so. Oliver's the Leon of Japan, and frankly, I'll take that. That is pretty good.
He's got a pretty fun timeline. Looking at it, lots of silly kitties.
Yeah, again, I like the dude a lot. Like this did nothing to diminish my opinion of him or anything like that. Or it wasn't like, oh, fuck this account or fuck Oliver. Like I'm still following myself. I've liked tweets he's put out since then. I was just curious on your guys' thoughts on like this one interaction. I think no harm, no foul. I don't know how he feels, but like on my side, no harm, no foul. Disagreeing is like awesome.
Yeah, it's good to go back and review your conversations. And like I said, the one thing, add like specifically like sword if you mean sword, because if you're in those, having been the guy that gets kicked out of someone's house because I'm like, oh, I sell guns, and they're like, get out of here. People are weird in Seattle sometimes. That if you don't clarify, sometimes it leaves it open to interpretation. So it's the only thing.
Jim and I just look at this conservative guy with his long hair and 6 conditioners.
It's true. Too many conditioners for
yeah,
a
Alex Moore is entirely correct. No blocks were done, so it's good. That's I only block people who I assume are like actual bots, like not real people. I don't mean bots like NPCs, like, oh, look at them just spouting off NPC nonsense. Like actual bots. You know, when I see that my post was shared and it's by someone with 2 followers and they're posting a titty pic in their profile picture, I'm like, oh, bot, block. Other than that, I don't block people ever. I'll get blocked by people, but I don't block people.
Vagina in the bio.
Yeah, China in the bio, exactly.
Oh no, what did you post?
Yes, I do.
I've got a fat cock too. Maybe we should rub our fat cocks together sometime. Maybe a little oil. 2 fat cocks together. Oil.
All right, this is a good time.
Wow.
Look, I'm white and he's Asian. Neither of us have fat cocks. We probably have adequate at best cocks.
Oh, this clip.
Mm-hmm.
Are we far enough into the stream now?
I think we are. It's been an hour.
Vagina in my face or bust? What?
I am like this because ADHD, autism, neurodivergent.
Maybe ADHD as well.
Right, but because you said that's what the mask is, I think you're a faggot. All right, so that's why. You're really stupid. I am like this because.
What do you want to say? What? Why are you bringing up Dream and Gumball?
Because he said the F word.
Why? Why?
Well, because he's extremely drunk, and we don't like
God.
Dream.
Wasn't this like weeks ago content?
Months ago.
Months ago? 2 months
Yeah.
ago?
It was a very long time. Okay. If you
What
want to
spurred
say,
it in your brain just now?
well, I was thinking about it.
Okay. You keep thinking
Well,
about it.
Blaine, is there any more on the ground reporting you need from me?
I don't think so. At this point, I'm gonna find other things. We're gonna have stuff where I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't do this, or this thing always happens to me when that happens. But I love this. You gotta start turning your on the ground reporting into shorts though. That way you can monetize it.
Yeah, I gotta figure out like, I guess a format or like how I want to create it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta just get the footage silently and quietly and politely, and then go back over with your voiceover of, this is Egg Canadian on the ground in Japan, bringing you Don Quixote. You're not supposed to film this. This is very dangerous.
You go through the curtain.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes there's not even a curtain. It's like way up there, and then there's like aisles that come out that are just covered with like boxes, and they're like, in this box is my pussy, and it's like, why are these not behind the curtain? It's not a very effective system they've got there.
Oh, was that was the voice actor for Gumball? Is that what it was, Jim Knight? I have no
Yeah.
idea who this clown is. So
Yeah,
I've
that's
never
the
seen
voice
Gumball.
actor for Gumball getting drunk in an Uber,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no,
Getting
I've never seen Gumball, so.
getting filmed by Dream, who is a YouTuber, Minecraft speedrunner, but who's super cringe. Is that the worst thing? Is Dream just super cringe, or has he done anything actually illegal?
I think he cheated in most of his speed runs, but yeah, he's just
Okay.
cringe. I don't like him.
You want to talk some One Piece? One Piece
I
of
mean,
what?
we can
One
talk True Detective.
One Piece of.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'll see myself out then.
All right,
Because I
Angry,
gotta go back
get to
school.
class.
Go
Have
run.
While we're
fun,
pulling up a
learn,
picture
and then
of
come
me,
teach
but all right.
us.
See you, Leon. Sorry, why did I say Lon? See you, Leon.
Catch you later,
It's
Ace.
great
It was
Ain't
nice
nobody got
talking
time
with
for
you, brother. Oh, if he was fat at one point, then fuck him.
What the hell guitar is this? Or did you get a custom flat black ESP?
Yeah, no, it's so that's that's the only guitar I have that I don't know what it is. I've got a buddy who's a guitar tech, and he gave it to me as a gift. I think he did custom build it.
Okay.
Mm.
Because it's obviously an ESP V2 body. But I've not in my life. Is it like a green flat black, or is that just glare? Is it black?
No, it's just glare. It's just a matte black.
Okay.
Yeah, the shirt's sick. I love that shirt. I've had that shirt for years.
Because you say your friend just gave this to you? Or did you buy it?
No, he gave it to me. He gave me 2 guitars on my birthday. One was a Dimebag Darrell replica after my initial Dimebag Darrell replica got stolen, and then this one, which he just, like I said, he's a guitar tech. I think he just custom made this one from parts he had.
Custom made from parts would make a little more sense. Maybe. I don't know. The thing for me is,
Yeah, because there's not a brand name on it. Like, there's not a brand name on the head or anything. I can grab the guitar right now. It's literally just in my closet right over there.
yeah, because it is a V2, like body and pickups.
Veritox, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're a mod. You don't have to go to Discord to post links, buddy.
Yeah, there's no
The link also doesn't work.
no brand name on the
Hold on.
no headstock or anything.
Let me. Oh gosh, switch. Okay. Oh, it's even weirder now. Hold on, let me see that the head. Oh, that's wacky.
Yeah.
Okay, pickups. What does it say on the pickup? EMG?
It says, yep, EMG.
Yeah, you have to have a Frankenstein then.
Yeah,
That's
I think this is. Yeah, I think this is a Frankentar.
huh. Those are the Zach Wild pickups.
Yeah,
Huh.
I love this thing. It's a beautiful guitar.
How's it sound?
Not as good as my ML Black Bolt, but I still really like it. Like it's definitely, it's got a good sound to it. It's just not my go-to between the two because I'm biased.
That makes sense. Those pickups look like they would be really round sounding. But I don't know if anybody else uses shapes to describe how guitars sound. Active pickups? Do they use 9-volt battery? It's not an acoustic. 9-volt? Wait.
Oh, actually, hold on. There's something on the back that I've never thought about reading before. The
plate.
right
Well,
here,
the fact that it has a plate means it's not a V2.
yeah, it's what does this say? Hold on, let me change my lighting. Aria Pro 2.
Aria Pro 2.
Yep, that's what
2
the
is
back plate says. Is Aria Pro 2.
That is not what this guitar looks like. Hold on. Okay, so they've got.
Maybe it's an Aria neck. No, it doesn't.
It's gonna be Pro
2 is a Roman numeral. I don't know if that matters now, but the 2 is a Roman numeral.
Of course it does. This website sucks. Aria Pro 2 in a V shape, but it's still the V is so specific. There's no way it's. That's probably just the neck because you do have that
that's what I
funky
was
head.
thinking.
Huh.
See, I thought the neck reminded me more of a Stratocaster neck, but yeah, it's probably the Aria neck is what it is.
So Aria Pro 2 neck with an ESP V2 body, painted matte black, and then EMG pickups. That is a wild guitar you have, my friend.
Yeah, I love this thing. I really do. It's a great guitar.
That is wacky. I'd like to hear it sometime, but I have a feeling that I would prefer even a Telecaster pickup over that. I'm not a big fan of the big flat black boxes, so start with a Strat. You remember that ad? It's a good guitar to start with. Stratocasters are great, and especially nowadays when you can get the what's the Fender's like knockoff line that's not knockoff.
Telecaster or no, their knockoff line is
Squire.
Yeah, Squire.
Yeah.
I've never played a Squire. I've heard
Never?
nothing but horror stories. No, I've heard
they're
nothing but
great.
horror stories about
They're
them.
great.
My first guitar, I believe, was a Epiphone SG.
An Epiphone SG. Epiphone is the funny. Is that the one that looks like a Gibson?
Yeah,
like
so it looked like
the
Gibson,
classic
yep.
rounded one. My buddy had one, and the best part of that guitar is you didn't need the whammy bar because you can just flex the neck. So
It's because the action on that thing. So I initially thought that I was bad at guitar because like I was practicing on that motherfucker for months, and I was like, I can play chords great. Anything that requires individual strings and going fast, I can't do. I must be retarded. No, the action was just ridiculously high because it was a cheap starter guitar. And the moment I got better, nicer guitars, I was like, oh, this is a lot easier.
how many guitars does Blaine own? Blaine has 2 electric basses, 1 electric
I miss
guitar,
owning bass. It's my favorite instrument to play. I miss owning basses.
and 1. I have a Fender acoustic bass, so I have
Nice.
4 guitars. I kind of have a 3rd guitar, but
I have an
it's
acoustic Jasmine over here as well.
just a body. You have an acoustic Jazzman? What?
Yeah.
You talking about that weird half C guitar?
No, shit. That was
realtor
Jasmine.
salary. No, I got all my basses and guitars before I started making money. Jasmine. Oh,
Yep, Jasmine.
interesting.
I didn't have a pick on me, so it was one of the few I played with my fingers.
I can sing every word of that song, but you'll never know.
Oh, dude, I can't. So one of the best memories of my entire life, junior year of high school, because I dropped out my junior year. Junior year of high school, I was dropping a girl like she didn't have a car. She was a friend of mine, so I was dropping her off after school, and I was driving back home to my place. And I was at a stoplight, and I had the windows down, and I had that song cranked, dude. And I'm sitting there, I'm singing along to it. I'm a high schooler. I think I'm so cool singing the loud music. And I look over, and the dude in some jacked pickup truck next to me also has the windows down. He's singing along to it. And I look forward, and a dude's crossing the crosswalk, and he's singing along to it. And it felt like we were in a music video. It was so awesome. So yeah, to this day, that's one of my favorite songs, purely for that memory.
You basically were. Wait, the song you were just playing?
Yeah, Scar Tissue by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
It's a lonely view.
Yeah, I love that song.
It's lonely. Oh, that song's wild.
It is.
Okay. Dev time. Now that Angry Canadian left, and he'll never know that this happened, because he's the only one. He was like, game dev, because apparently he hasn't been here for any of the announcements of me finally doing this in front of people so that I can force myself to make more movements towards getting this done. So years ago, and I mean years ago, like 2016, I came up with an idea. I'm just going to write it as it's the Link to the Past, but it's Dark Souls. And it takes place in like a warped Edo, where the Sengoku era, where all of the warlords are fighting, led to all of the death, and all of the death made like the Japanese underworld go wacky, which also then affects the real world, because in Japan they do that thing where the sacred and the mundane world are like the same, and I really like the Link to the Past, like dark world, light world convergence, and I was like, they should do that, but with like actual Japan, and like use the way that Dark Souls like plans out levels with like recurring things. And I started doing this, and I got into it, and I got deep. I have a lot of little like note stuff here, a lot of stuff I started doing. I learned a good amount of what is it? The Epic Game Maker. Which one is that?
The only
Unreal.
I was
learned
gonna say,
a lot.
Unreal? I was gonna say the only one I know is Unreal. So
I went from Unreal 3 to Unreal 5.
Unreal 5 is wild. I'm playing an Ocarina of Time remake in Unreal 5, and it is insane.
Oh yeah. So I made up sprite sheets and stuff so that I could start putting stuff in and actually like playing with and getting to it. But I realized very quickly that a game similar to Link to the Past is a wildly complex thing to try to work through, and I do not know enough to make the game the way that I would want to play it, because this whole thing is just for me. I want to play this game at the end of the day, which means I want it to be something that I enjoy and will move forward with. And then I was like, okay, so if that's too wild, if Samurai Souls is too wild, what about stepping back a little bit? What's an easier game? And I was like, okay, Tic-Tac-Toe is an easy game. I programmed that back when I was in college. I was like, I can do that. Is Michael AFK? No, Michael's playing games.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm chilling.
Yeah, he's Big Papa chilling. Big Bunger chill. So I was like, okay, so a chess game is a lot easier because it's like you've got pieces, they've got blocks, they move from point A to point B. Very simple. But that sounded because again, I did take some programming classes in college, and I had done games that are like that. And I was like, all right, what's the next step up? A little more complication. I really like Advance Wars. We've talked plenty about how I love Advance Wars, and I don't like Fire Emblem. So I was like, I'll make Advance Wars because Advance Wars doesn't exist. And I started doing it, and I had a little more money this time. This was 2020 that I was working on this, and I actually was able to get a. So I've got a bunch of. Here, this one's a sprite sheet. So I got sprite sheets for that one as well, and I paid a guy on Fiverr. I was like, hey, can you make this? And so I actually had somebody put it together. They used Unity, which I don't know if I would use Unity to do it, but I had them put together a full, like, you can move and you can attack guys if they're close enough. You've got your little damage indicators. We have archer types, and we have sword guys. The blue team can go when they attack. They do damage. One of the big things that I like about these types of games is that they are not dependent on luck. If you attack, you're going to attack as though 5 guys did 5 guys worth of damage, which correlates to those 3 damage points that guy just lost. Because I find that a much more interesting game. And I have some things, like you can see when I kill them, they leave their little hat and their sword behind. Because in a lot of media, it's like, oh, the battlefield was like strewn with enemies or with friends, just blood everywhere. And I liked the idea of leaving the bodies on the battlefield so that you could incorporate some level of, like, this guy has this new ability to bury, so he can bury that and it removes the corpse. And to have some sort of mechanic that uses this idea that there are enemy bodies on the battlefield, and if you leave them on the battlefield and you finish the game with them on the battlefield, that it has some kind of effect at the end, versus if you clean them all up and make sure that everything is hunky-dory and clean by the end of it. So we can come over here and we can bury the archer, and then this guy is probably going to end up getting whacked, and this guy will bury. And I think this has like you have to like capture the enemy base to actually make it complete. Is that what I did? No, I don't think it actually has an end state, unless maybe they kill each other. Let's try that. Let's see if I told the guy to do this, because I don't.
Just route the enemy.
Yeah, I don't remember what I did. Oh my gosh, would you? Oh, because he's on a building right now, so he's getting defense. There it is. Okay, so it's a kill all sort of victory. But so these are some of the ideas that I was playing around with. And at this point now, so I'm gonna write down Advance Wars, Sengoku. At this point, having now played Fire Emblem games and seen how much people like Fire Emblem games and why people like Fire Emblem games, and that there is this idea in there of people enjoying it, I'm like, okay, how can I also incorporate Fire Emblem games, but make them something that I enjoy? Because I've always complained the permadeath. I've complained about the idea, but what if we had a game where, like, the captains were essentially characters that you were following, but everyone else was like actually like you could conscript them and like have like build more coming out of the barracks kind of a thing. I think something like that would fix my issue with sort of the Fire Emblem formula. And I think if I do it right, it'll still be enjoyable and have that characterization that people like to build on with the.
So that's definitely the draw of Fire Emblem,
with
is
the Fire Emblem, yeah.
Yeah, is the character moments and the social links and being able to follow individual like the 6 or 8 characters or however many aren't affected by permanent death. You just lose the game if they die. Like those are the people whose stories are actually following.
Sounds like you want to make Lords of the Fallen but set in Japan. Maybe. I mean, it's does Lords of the Fallen have a dual map system where you can go back and forth? Admiral Kizaru just showed up and wants to know where I am in OP. Where is Hector? Yeah. No, Hector's okay. I can't see Luck. No, you can't see Luck.
Admiral Kizaru on my One Piece rewatch that I'm currently doing with my roommate / best friend because it's his
One
first time
Piece.
seeing it.
Okay.
We just finished Dressrosa, so we're actually getting into near the area where I dropped off because I dropped off somewhere in the 800s to 900s. So he's almost caught up with me, and we'll be watching new stuff again soon.
I don't know how you got through Dressrosa.
You said you want to know how we got through Dressrosa?
I don't know how you got through it. That one's so long.
Oh, dude, I love it, dude. Dressrosa is so much fun.
Weebs and Waifus. Who is that?
I assume it's another channel.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Long live Weebs and Waifus? I don't know. I heard you sent a super chat and then you showed us some like weird DMs and oh, here we are. Ivan Film Fix. Follow. Okay. Yeah, they're complaining about YouTube things.
Good.
That makes sense. Tweet.
Dude, I can't believe I actually went back and finished True Detective today. That was bad. That was not good.
Oh, season 4?
Yeah.
I haven't even attempted to watch it. Holy shit, is it getting just destroyed by actual True Detective fans? Considering, and like I said in my video, I think season 1 is literally the best television ever filmed.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck season 4 and everything I've heard about it.
Dude, how about the 2 main characters are just the most unlikable characters in the show?
I've heard that too. Yeah, which Jodie Foster is a good actress. It sucks that she got saddled with doing because I would watch her in True Detective if it was actually True Detective.
Yeah, it's purely the script that's fucking her because it's just like, oh, I just need to keep screwing over my partner in this case. I just need to keep railing all these people. I just need to keep making fun of people. Like it gets so tiring watching her do that every episode.
Yeah, it was just what an abomination. Like I get people have qualms with season 2. Yeah, season 2 is not near as good as season 1, but I still think season 2 is a solid 7.5, 8. Like it's hard to compare to a perfect 10. And then season 3 is almost as good as season 1. So the fact that they couldn't even bring Nick back for season 4 and they thought they could get away with calling it True Detective, I baffled at the stupidity. You had a slam dunk on your hands, and all you had to do.
All they had to do was have the bad guy say time is a flat circle, and then it's True Detective now. That's how
until I was reading those articles, I could not believe they used that line again. That reeks of desperation.
It was so bad. He's strapped to a chair. He's finally caught. They're questioning him like, "Hey, why'd you do this? How'd you do this? Like, why did everyone go crazy after you hid?" And he was just like, "Time." Annie did it, and it's like, well, Annie's been dead for 5 years. The fuck you talking about? Time is a flat circle. She's always been there. Like, it is the worst villain speech you can imagine.
Oh, of course, Angry. I got you.
It's not like Matthew McConaughey's character's world famous or whatnot. He's probably like in universe the only person to ever say time is a flat circle. Like it's not like that's a well-known phrase or something.
Mm-hmm. No, Rusty was one of the best parts of season 1.
Yeah, I agree. I would wager. I never disliked Matthew McConaughey, but that show is what made me actively realize that he is a good actor. Like, holy shit! Like, yeah, I think Rusty is probably the best character in that show.
It's weird because season 1, Rusty grows on you as Woody Harrelson's character kind of falls off, but like they even out by the end of it. Even if like one starts off much higher than the other, they both like rise and fall to each other's levels. But in this show, they're
it pays off because you feel like that. I don't know if it's just the chemistry between the actors or how well written it was, or maybe it's both. But like there's a period of time in that show where you fucking hate Woody Harrelson's character. Like you're actively rooting against him, and then near the end of the show, he rises back up. Like whatever nobility he had near the beginning of the show, resurfaces, and you remember, oh right, I did love this character at one point, and like you're rooting for him again. It's so well done.
Well, it just gets to the point where he keeps fucking over himself, his family, the case, Rusty. Like, Woody, shut up. Stop doing that.
Yeah, just anyone that's never seen True Detective season 1, you're absolutely missing out. It is. I never am afraid to overhype it to people. Like whenever I say it's the best TV show I've ever seen, or the best first season of a show I've ever seen, you say something like that, and immediately you'll put fear in people's head. Like, oh man, what if this does not meet my expectations? I've never met a single person who watched it and they were like, yeah, you hyped it up too much. It's never happened.
Never, ever, never.
Not in my anecdotal experience. Every single person I've ever shown season 1 to was like, holy shit, you were correct.
What is it called?
True Detective.
True Detective.
And I guess if you're ever planning on watching it, we'll just stick to season 4. But it gets so bad, dude. You just have you have Jodie Foster's character, and she's like still a detective. She's chief of police. She's actually like doing things, and her partner is this young dude, like fresh recruit, who's married, has a kid, and she just keeps fucking him over every episode. Like, oh, I need you to do something for me. I know it's like 11:30 at night, but like you gotta do this for me. And she does that every episode to the point where she's doing it on Christmas Eve. And he ends up getting kicked out of the house because of it. Like, it's just such bullshit. Everything she does.
Now, does the show paint her as like the good guy for doing this?
I don't think it portrays her as the good guy or the bad guy for doing it.
Gotcha.
It probably somewhat portrays like it being unfair.
No, I don't have time for live action.
I'll say every time like
asked
she
questions
really
to be
fucked him
engaged.
over, she would then go on to like have a decent night, which really got annoying. She'd be like, "Oh, Christmas Eve, I need you to do this for me," and then she'd like go bang a dude.
FYI, Mark the Cyborg, I posted that he helped me find it. It's Reservoir Girls. It's just a Reservoir Dogs with
the Sailor Moon
Sailor
chicks.
Scouts.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's the other thing.
I've been trying to reverse search this shirt forever, and I posted on Twitter, and Mark's like, "What about Reservoir Dogs?" I'm like, "What?" And they even have a white version on Alley that I might pick up instead because I don't need it immediately.
Well, that's the other thing that happened today. Meat Canyon posted his anti-lolicon video, and the only anime he brings up as having lolly in it is Sailor Moon and Dragon Maid.
Really?
Yeah, and specifically Ilulu in Dragon Maid, not Kana. Like Ilulu.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is that to go? Like, is it part of the? Is he serious, or is it part of the meme where?
That's what I was about to ask because I've never seen Meat Canyon do anything.
He's 100% serious about it. He thinks any form of like childish features in anime should be non-existent.
Oh, but he also draws everyone like they're 1,000 years old. So.
Yeah.
Well, see, okay, back to the whole Oliver Gia stuff from earlier. Like when he was, when he said, "Hey, this is so American centric." Like when I look at lolly stuff, I can put myself in the headspace of this is a cultural norm in Japan. Therefore, within reason, I don't have a problem with it. Like, oh, they drew characters looking young. I don't really have a problem with it because that's not. Yeah, it's not my culture, but I can understand that as their culture, and it is what it is. It doesn't bother me. Like.
There is something that needs to be clarified though in all of these discussions, because when you say, "Well, I see the lolly stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't bother me," there's entire groups of people that hear that and they're just like, "Lolly porn," and that's all. And it's like that does bother me. That does make me happy.
Of course, that bothers me.
But like,
absolutely.
It's so annoying that it all falls under the same umbrella. Like in Sasuke, you got that like triple digit chick who actually acts old, and then she's in that like tiny body, and you're like, yeah, this character is great. I don't mind this character at all. Meanwhile, there's actual children, and you're like, get away from me, child. Like,
anyway, don't look them up on Rule 34.
Oh yeah, Adam's reactions are so. It's his argument is awful too. He ends his stream with saying that. Because they're trying to like Well, Sitch is trying to figure out, like, okay, what is actually the difference between this argument of lolly leading to pedophilia and
Real quick,
and
to answer
video game.
IJP Mexican's question, neither. Lolly is an art style. It literally, they could be children, they can be adults. Lolly is an art style of how something is drawn. Whether they actually be children or just adults that look like children. It's like, you're just describing an art style.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly part of the art style, but I feel like I'd describe more as character design.
Yeah, the design
That's
of the
just
character.
Design, not art style. Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome, Brandon.
Hey
the
guys,
non-lolly anime guy.
how is everyone this fine evening?
We're good, enjoying adults as we should.
Like, anytime you hear the word lolly, replace it with chibi, and then you'll be like, oh, that's what lolly. Like, they don't mean like chibi is a type of character design, obviously, so lolly is the same thing, but I think that's a fair comparison.
That's a reasonable comparison.
I think the difference is that anything can be chibified.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lolly character, the purpose of the character is that they're childlike
or
Right.
petite.
They have childlike features. That's the purpose. Because it's always like, wait, you're how old? Like that's supposed to be a shock because they're supposed to look young.
So they're young looking. I always associated it more with a petite-ish body style, not necessarily either a child or childlike look. But I can see that going both ways.
Again, this is where the definition of lolly becomes a very difficult thing to discuss because by definition, lolly is brought straight from Lolita, which is the childlike character designs. Now, can a character design of a childlike character be mature and an adult? We've seen it done before, and that's another thing. But the lolly design is childlike by definition.
Yeah, like the character Edna in oh my goodness, what's the name of that fucking video game? Tales of Zestiria is she's a lolly in terms of character design, but she at no point speaks in a childish manner. She speaks like an old woman who is frankly bitchy.
Which I would say is
go on. Sorry.
Well, and that's where it's done well because a lot of times it's a 300-year-old dragon lolly. Like it becomes pointless to say that it's 300 because at the end of the day, you've made a character that is child-looking and acts like a child, and it's like,
right.
Why not just make it a child? Why are we trying to joke that it's 300 years old? I don't get the joke.
So that's Brandon always talk about
that's
lollies.
why I love using the Tales of Zestiria example because she quite literally is like a 3,000-year-old witch or something like that, and she acts like it. She's like, all you motherfuckers are children to me. You're what? You're 16? Yeah, you're an ant. I'm a 3,000-year-old witch. What the fuck are you trying to talk to me about? Like, she's a bitch, but at no point does she act childish, even though she looks like a child. If I remember right, she even doesn't like the fact that she looks like a child because her brother looks normal, and she's like, yeah, I can't stand the fact that this is just how I naturally look.
Hey, Alex, good to see you. Okay. Here's one from a movie that I think fits into this. How many of you have seen the original movie Interview with the Vampire?
Like
you're about to
Tom
bring
Cruise?
up Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
When she's like 12 years old, she's turned into a vampire, so she never ages out of it, and so she wants to know what it's like to kiss men and whatnot, even though it's like these technically adult-looking men kissing someone who is in the body of a 12-year-old, but she's been a vampire for like 100 years or whatever.
Was the actress 12?
Yeah, it was Kirsten Dunst.
It was Kirsten Dunst, and she was younger at the time. Yes.
I don't like that.
I don't think I could be. I haven't seen the movie in a few years.
I think that's the point, Bunger. I
actually
think you're supposed to be
anybody.
like, this is kind of weird.
But
Like,
yeah. You're supposed to ask those moral questions of like, well, yeah, it's a child's body, but she's a vampire. She's 100 years old. Like, it's meant to be. And again, I don't think you actually see 12-year-old Kirsten Dunst kiss like a 20-year-old man actor or something like that. I could be wrong.
None of that happened.
Like, there's discussions about it, but there's no actual filming of something like that.
Yeah. Well, I remember it's been a while since I've seen it, but I do remember there comes a point in her life when running around with Lestat and all that she gets pissed, beyond pissed, because she can't age, because she's trapped in her 12-year-old self, and she
Lucifer
can't
the
get
Doberman
out
says
of
she's
that.
7, apparently. So yeah, that makes it. I mean, at the end of the day, a child's still a child. 7, 12. I don't really think it makes a big difference at that point.
Yeah.
But technically, for being
Legally,
correct,
it
yeah,
does.
7.
Shut up,
What?
Serrano.
I'm pretty sure that 7 and 12 either way is disgusting.
How about
The
the
words that are going to be
professional?
on the paper when you get assigned to your prison cell are going to be different.
I feel like in The Professional, wasn't the point that she wanted to be grown up, but he was like, no, you're a kid? Wasn't
Yes.
that like the whole movie?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a very underrated cult movie. I
I
remember
would say
seeing
it's
it when it came
underrated.
out.
It might be underwatched, but everyone who watches it rates it appropriately as a fucking perfect movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an excellent movie.
But IJP, Adam's take that was wild was when they got into this discussion of trying to identify. Well, so Stitch was trying to identify like what like get down to like what's the actual issue here with Lolly, right? Because you've got to fight against the people that say it's not real people and no one's getting harmed in the creation, so why would it be bad? You've got to be able to find a way to fight against that. And they were trying to dig down into like what is the difference between whacking it to Lolly and violence in video games, because we all agree that violence in video games is not going to equate to violence in real life. But when we talk about whacking it to Lolly, suddenly we're like, wait, no, that is a problem that needs to stop. So how do we like get into that? But Adam didn't want to get into the discussion because he was saying that when you do violence in video games, you're just pushing buttons on a controller. But when you watch Lolly, you're actually doing the act. And so it was, he couldn't explain properly that what he meant was you're having the mental idea of I'm aroused by this image, and versus violence in video games where you're having that just sort of tactile, I'm playing the game, whatever the game's mission is a different sort of motivating factor. And Sitch was like, you're not having sex with someone. What do you mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And they just went back and forth over that. And Adam couldn't articulate what he was saying, and Sitch couldn't ask him the right question to try to drill down into it because Adam didn't want to go there.
Well, I mean, the real difference is when you talk to the people who play violent video games and you talk to people who jack it off to Lolly, they're very different people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like,
It's-
I don't
yeah.
believe that it stops at cartoons with you. Like,
Yeah, you just talk to people that like get into Lolly stuff. It's like, yeah, I think you are a pedophile based on the way you talk about it. Yeah, not the fact that you do it.
I'm in a real weird camp with this Lolly debate because I am vehemently anti prosecuting people for thought crimes, and that is to me what like I find it morally reprehensible, but I don't necessarily think there should be a legal punishment unless an
Well, I
actual
don't think
law
we
is
should.
broken.
I don't think we should actually throw pedophiles in jail for existing because I don't want to know that they're a pedophile. But if they haven't acted on it, just don't let people know.
yeah, I'm in the thought crime category too. And again, I don't think that it should be criminalized. I think that puts it in like this weird space where you're gonna make it worse if you do that versus if we
Right.
just sort of like globally shame it. So it's the problem with the internet. All of these freaks have been able to find each other because it's like, oh, 0.001% of the population is really into Lolly, but each one of them can find each other. Now there's like 100 of them. We're all like, we'll retweet each other's
And that
stuff, and you're like,
also
go
makes
away.
the problem look bigger than it is. With,
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna be real.
exactly.
As someone who has spent a lot of time around weebs, to my knowledge, I've never met anyone into Lolly. Or if they did, they were one of the few that were like, they unlike vegans.
They had
didn't
enough
fucking
shame
talk
not
I
to
mean,
tell
or
you
you
to-
just
Yeah,
didn't ask
exactly.
them.
So, I mean, have I ran into some at like cons and whatnot that I don't know personally? Yeah, absolutely. But in like my close friend group of people who watch anime, I've never been friends with a Lolly. I've never met a Lolly. So I genuinely think that with most like most things nowadays,
LollyCon. Let's get our terms
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would say
Lolly-
been friends with
Lolly
Lolly. I
Con,
mean, I
thank
haven't.
you. You never
met a
That's
Lolly
not
at a
what we're
con,
talking
right?
about.
Yeah, LollyCon. I think that it looks like a much bigger problem than it is because the internet makes it more readily available. And Lucifer the Domer says, Lucifer says, like the trans community. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a very good analogy.
That's not good for me. I live in California.
All the weebs I know, like
Oh,
IRL.
They're everywhere.
California.
Dude,
Can't escape.
the only time you like young characters is when you're younger than them. Then you get older than them, and you're like, you know what? Mom's looking pretty good in this show. Like, it's
Kato gals, man.
See, dude, that's why I never feel bad for finding Dakota Fanning attractive, because her and I are the exact same age, so we always grew up at the same time. So I was like, there we go. It's always been cool to like Dakota Fanning.
I say Kristen Dunst is in my age bracket, so yeah, I get that.
I mean, I think liking Dakota Fanning has its own issues.
Look, when you're young, there are not a lot of child stars that are females that you can like identify with. Like it was either her or Macaulay Culkin, and I don't like cock, so I went with Dakota Fanning. So
there you go.
I've Gomez.
I've got a
you should have
question.
had a Lizzie McGuire like I did.
I got a question.
Dude, I absolutely had a crush on. She's just a few years older. Like me and Dakota Fanning are literally the same age. So, but yeah, no, I absolutely had a crush on Hilary Duff. Still do.
It's true. MILFs do make the world go round.
Yeah. Is it good of me that, as the 13, 14, 15-year-old teen, I absolutely fell head over heels for Ryoko? Is that bad?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't sound bad.
There's not a bad choice at that age, is what he was saying.
Okay,
dude,
that's
if
good.
you told me you saw a rock with a real curvy aspect to it, I'd be like, yeah, bro, that makes sense.
All right,
I pulled up a tree like a couple weeks ago, and everyone was like, damn, that tree's got some titties. Like,
man, the degens run wild. All right, I've got a question for all of you.
Sure.
How many of you are fans of the Borderlands series?
I played the first couple. I really liked them.
Okay. I absolutely adore Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, and to a lesser extent, Tiny Tina's Wonderland Bunkers and Badass game. The whole thing of Borderlands is hilarious. They finally released the trailer for the movie. Has anybody seen it?
No, I was gonna possibly do a reaction to it on my on my channel, but I'm not a Borderlands fan, so I just feel sorry for you guys from the screenshots I've seen because yeah, this movie looks like fucking ass, but
it has everyone in it.
But that's the thing. Borderlands is ass. That's the whole thing about the planet of Pandora. Everything about it is trying to kill you. Everything about it is backwards.
No, I'm talking about the film quality.
Oh, as far as it looks,
like
it
bad
looked okay.
Quality film from what I've seen of the trailer.
It looked okay. They've got.
I didn't watch the trailer. Oh man, I don't have any interest in watching that, man. It's
all right. Well, normally I'm not big into the more modern, but I think I can see where they were going with it. And one person did have a take on it, like that it was basically written by ChatGPT or something stupid like that. And I can kind of see it because it's just based upon the characters that are there. It is an amalgamation of some of the characters from the first game, some of the characters from the second game, and the age of one of the characters from the third game. So it's going to be its own thing. But as far as Jack Black being Claptrap doesn't work too well, but I think it works well enough. I'm gonna give it a try.
I mean, Claptrap
try it.
is not the only character. I'm not sure I would trust any of the other people to be
let's see.
directed.
Kate Blanchett is Lilith. Then you have Kevin Hart as Roland. You have Jack Black as the Claptrap.
Wasn't Roland a buff soldier dude?
Roland in the first game, he's a soldier type character. Yes.
Yeah, that's insane to me that he would be Kevin Hart, the 5'5", 5'3" Kevin Hart.
Roland wasn't too tall to begin with. So
no, but it's Kevin Hart.
Well, you suck enough.
How
you
would
suck
you?
enough
How
D,
could
you get movies that you shouldn't
Kevin
get.
Hart in the army. I can't picture him as an action guy.
As I said, if you suck enough D,
I don't know. I never pictured Ashton Kutcher as an action guy, but then I saw the movie Killers where he plays like a James Bond style character, and it worked real well. But then again, I don't like
over
Kevin
5'5".
Hart.
I mean, clearly you never watched.
Kevin Hart is not just short; he is tiny. Like that's what I mean.
He's not flabby. He's pretty built. He's got a decent physique on him. So he'll be okay as Roland. He'll be okay as Roland. I have no idea who they have playing Krieg, the Psycho. And then they had Jamie Lee Curtis playing Dr. Tannis.
Patona or whatever.
We looked it up. Yeah, it was his name was on the poster. I forgot what his name was by now though.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. And then I don't remember who they had playing Tiny Tina, but she's she's got some of it down.
Yeah, it was,
See,
his name,
why are they? Again, I'm not a Borderlands fan. I've never played a Borderlands game minus like half an hour drunkenly playing Borderlands 2 with a friend or something like that. I think it was 2, maybe it was 3. Either way, I'm not a Borderlands fan. Obviously, I want this to be good for Borderlands fans because I just because I don't like it as me. I would like to see good adaptations of video game media. But by the same token, why would they not follow the storyline of a game? Because the way you're talking about it makes it seem like they're going to just be doing their own thing. Like Fallout, it makes sense why they're doing their own thing because Todd Howard said this is going to be canon. It's its own story. But what you're talking about, it seems like an amalgamation of existing stories rather than just following an existing story. They're
Partially.
Like, why the middle ground?
That's who knows why they chose to do it that way. We won't know until we.
Well,
get
yeah, when I
closer
say
to
why,
August.
I don't actually mean why they do it this way. I mean for
Oh.
you as a fan, do you consider that a good move?
It can be because some of the stories within the Borderlands are fucking insane. That everything, as I said, everything about that game is designed to just be off the wall. So, as far as character choices, it feels to me like they don't expect to get a sequel. That's how I feel about it. But if it does well enough, it might. And if they do, then they can introduce some of the other characters that were either in the first game, the second game, or the third game, because they've got quite a few Vault Hunters to choose from. But it looks like, as I said, just from what they've shown, it looks like they're mostly adapting the original Borderlands game because it looks like the main bad guys are Atlas, and Atlas Corporation was the main bunch of shitheads that were trying to exploit Pandora. So that doesn't surprise me too much. The thing that does surprise me is having Psycho Krieg, because he doesn't show up until the second game, and then Tiny Tina, who doesn't show up till the second game, but she's an 11, 12-year-old monster as opposed to the 18, 19-year-old deviant monster that she becomes. So
I didn't really like Borderlands just overall, but honestly, I don't like the idea of Tiny Tina. Like the little bits of scenes I've seen, was like, yeah, annoying. It's just annoying.
Borderlands
it's because
is a
you've
blast.
grown up. It's because you've grown up in a world dominated by Harley Quinn.
Yeah, don't need no Harley Quinn. I'll take Tiny Tina. I'll take her level of insanity because
You're
she's
too old to say that.
She's
just throwing it out there. You're too old to say you'll take Tiny Tina. Back to the lolly discussion.
Yeah, I think you lose.
I'll take the Borderlands 3 version of Tiny Tina, not the Borderlands 2 version of Tiny Tina.
You're not
Yeah,
making
as
this
long
better
as
for
I
yourself.
get to see Mad Moxie, I'm okay with a live action.
You do. She's there.
Yeah, she's in it.
Which makes me wonder if her kids are going to be in there. Ah, Hales, are you Hyperions? Well, if you guys are coming for me, you'll never take me alive, you Hyperion some bitch. Catch a ride. I love those characters. They're so good. So much fun. Play Borderlands. Play Borderlands 3. The mechanics in that is vastly better than the second, but the story in the second one is so good. So much fun.
When am I going to start
I know,
making the
I-
game? Now. I'm installing the engine.
I said I want it to be good for Borderlands fans. I'm probably not going to see it. I mean, maybe I'll hit the high seas for it to do a review, but I don't feel. I think that when you're making something based on existing IP, you should honor the source material. So I don't know if somebody who is not familiar with the source material should be like you should. I don't think you can objectively review something because people will be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, you shouldn't be able to. You should be able to separate the movie from the games or whatnot." And that was like the argument they made for Five Nights at Freddy's or for Mario. And I'm like, look, if they are making the fans happy, like Five Nights at Freddy's, I know nothing about. I've never played a Five Nights
Neither
at
do
Freddy's
I.
game, but it made the fans of that of the game happy. Apparently, it
Yeah.
very much honored the source material. I'm like, good.
My kid
like
knows it.
I
how
like
it
the
should be.
games in terms of I played some of them and I watched people play the rest of them.
Yeah, my daughter loves Five Nights at Freddy's, so I know
thought the movie was just kind
she
of
went and
mid,
saw
though.
it.
Yeah,
But
I
I
just
have-
didn't think it was that good.
I've
I just-
never
it
come
it
close
bothers
to
me
it.
when
So
people who don't know the source material try and talk about the objective quality of a film because I'm like, well, you don't you can't speak to the objective quality because you would not have the film or whatever adaptation if not for the source material. So you need to know the source material to be able to talk about, or at least be able to adequately talk about what it is you're reviewing. So like, again, I'm a massive Mario fan. I was very able and capable of talking about the Mario movie. I'm going to be very capable of talking about the Zelda movie. I can't talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie because I don't know anything about the franchise. I can just say it looks like from the discourse online, it made actual fans happy. That is good enough for me.
I think this stands a chance at that. As I said, for me, I think I see where they're going with it, knowing, from the very beginning up through the end of 3, where they might be going with it. But I'll just have to wait and see.
IJP, you say they can speak of the objective quality, but they can't talk about how good of an adaptation it is. I disagree, because to me, part of the objective quality has to do with how good of an adaptation it is. If you are adapting something and it is nothing like the source material, then to me, that is objectively bad because you failed at your job of adapting it. So I don't think you can have one without the other if it's an adaptation.
Makes sense. Well, and say if you want to get an idea of what's going on in the Borderlands, you can always go watch all the movie clips that they put together. And I would say this: watch the second one. It's just
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to bother. I have no interest in trying to get into the lore of yet another video game.
Borderlands. I love the Borderlands.
I don't dislike it. I'm glad people have I'm glad people.
You ever
enjoy
run
it,
around,
but,
opened a box, and then looked at 2 numbers and picked which one was bigger, and then ran around to find another box and looked at the numbers to see which one was bigger? That's Borderlands.
Yeah. Literally a bazillion, gajillion gun possibility combination. It's a loot shooter. Co-op loot shooter, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. Or at least I always thought it was.
I already have my head filled with all the deep lore of Zelda and Resident Evil and Sonic the Hedgehog. I just don't need to add another game to the list of things that I will get obsessively involved in looking into the lore of and knowing every facet of information about, because that is what I do when I start getting into new stories and whatnot. So I have to call it quits or taper it off in some way, shape, or
You'll
form.
never come out of the rabbit hole, and trust me, with Borderlands, it's a massive rabbit hole of what the hell. It's out there. It is out there, but I think I'll enjoy it for what it is, and they didn't look too bad to me. The budget they had, they did their best with. So
I don't know. I guarantee you it's probably a massively ballooned budget that they don't deserve, because that's how all Hollywood movies work today. In fact, I'm going to Google it.
It's Lionsgate. Lionsgate doesn't typically have that big a budget.
They got Jack Black. So.
And Jamie Lee Curtis. And I was watching this video the other day. On average, 20% of movies' budgets nowadays are just paying the actors, or paying the biggest single star actor, I should say. That is insane. There's no reason for that.
Okay.
Right,
this thing is saying
movie budget
100 million.
Okay, you know what?
That's
if it's 100
well
million, that's okay. That's fair. I mean, account for marketing, you're looking more like 175 to 200 million, but even so, that's fair. That is a mid-tier movie. I'm not going to bitch about that. I stand corrected.
Yeah, they can, well, if they're able to farm it out to the right people, you can get people to do a lot with it. So let me take a look here. They do have all the people. Okay, so Edgar Ramirez is Atlas. He's the head of the Atlas Corporation. So that explains that. Gina Gershon is Moxie. Ooh, come on. Who plays Psycho Krieg? We got everybody else except
It's
that.
Florence Nightingale.
Yeah, Florence Nightingale's in it. So
No, I mean, like I said earlier, it was the Florian Munteau.
That was it, Florian
Or
Munteau.
Munteau. He has a weird last name.
Yeah, I've seen the preview a few times now, and as I said, I'm not sold on Jack Black as Claptrap. He has the mannerisms, but even when they vocalize his voice is just too deep. It'd be like me trying to do Claptrap. I can't go higher up into the register.
But also, it's like augmented. So, did they not do that?
Well, as I said, they did use a vocalizer, but Jack Black's voice is just just a little too deep, and they didn't change it enough. You know it's Jack Black.
Well, you have to know it's Jack Black. Otherwise, why would it be Jack Black?
Yeah, I was about to say the
Exactly.
same. Like, you knew that Bowser was Jack Black, but he changed his voice enough to be like, you're like, hey, I can tell this is Jack Black, but also he's putting his own spin on Bowser in a way that is going to be his own Bowser. If they make another
Yeah.
Mario movie in 30 years and they recast somebody, he's going to be a different Bowser than Jack Black's Bowser. Frankly, I think Jack Black was one of the best. I like the Mario movie overall, but I think Jack Black did great as Bowser.
Yeah, and that's probably what they did with him doing Claptrap. You know, I can see a lot of the second game and third game Claptrap in his vocal presentation and some of the jokes revolving around Claptrap. Just remember, Claptrap's
Real,
mortal
but what I
enemy.
know about Borderlands, I hope you guys are happy. Like that game, the humor from the first couple of games, from what I know about it, couldn't be done today. So I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie. In the
That's
world
my
we
only
live in,
problem.
because
That's
that
the
game
possible.
is just like very. I know it didn't come out in 2006, but like think of 2006 humor, gamer
Mhm.
words, things like that. That is what the Borderland games do. So I don't know how they're going to do a movie in the current climate.
For the first
I hope
one
you
they
guys
did.
get what you want out of it.
Well, the second one, it was, about 2012 thereabouts. Third game was 2019, and yeah, for that one they did a ton of a lot of modern lingo. Having someone be a viral internet sensation and social medias and all that. None of that stuff really existed the way it did in 2019 back in either 2012 or 2006.
Well,
so,
I don't even mind that. I'm saying how much they're going to have to soften the comedy because of sensitivity readers and how delicate and pussified everyone is.
I don't know. I didn't
Like,
there's
is
just
the
not-
movie rated R?
Once again, I don't know. I don't think they said. In
Ah,
a lot of ways,
really? That's announced by the
Borderlands
trailer,
has
isn't
to
it?
be rated R.
that's what I
that's
was
one,
thinking.
yeah.
Because of the violence. The violence in it is over the top, and some of that is. But
Violence
I'm almost thinking that they can't, because if they do put it at rated R, the odds of them making it, just getting to the break-even point, become that much harder. Whereas if it's PG-13, and if it's reasonably well received, it at least stands a chance. I don't know. You can get away with a lot of stuff in PG-13 these days, and even in the original game, Claptrap was the only one that said
Oh
the F
shit!
word.
Is Eli Roth directing?
Yeah,
Holy shit! Eli Roth is all right. This might actually work. Maybe I'm gonna give a small amount of hope to this. If Eli, holy, that's awesome.
well, definitely check out the trailer and do a reaction to it. I think for someone that knows close to nothing about it, I think you'll enjoy it for what it is. It's just
Have a good one, Andy
an action comedy. That's what it is. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I think it'll be fine. So, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to go PG-13, because every other movie that Eli Roth's done.
Wikipedia so far says R. So if that's the case, oh no, apparently there's a quote from Eli Roth. This ain't no PG-13.
Good.
Wow.
I mean, there's still time for that to change, studio interference, but as it currently stands, okay, it looks like it is R-rated.
Well, in that case, they could really ham up some of the stuff.
Because Jim Nyer says if Deadpool and Wolverine can get an R soak in this movie, it's more about video game movies are. Deadpool proved R-rated comic book movies to be a thing. It did that back in like 2016 or whenever Deadpool came out.
Long time ago.
Video game movies, on the other hand, do not have a solid reputation. In fact, we really only have Sonic and Mario starting to give solid reputation to video game movies in terms of financial stability. So it would not surprise me at all if a studio was afraid to go in on an R rating because their only experience with with video game movies working is Mario and Sonic. Because I mean, Mortal Kombat was R rated, if I remember right. It didn't. Now, granted, it came out during the pandemic, so there are extenuating circumstances, but I don't think it made very much money.
No, it didn't. Here we go. Let's see.
Here we go again.
Florian Montanao, also known by his ring name, Big Nasty.
Have you just not
dream
been listening to
actor.
what we said earlier?
What?
Big Nasty?
Did you just not listen to us when he said it like 4 other times that what his name
No.
was?
No.
Because you asked like, what's this guy's name? It's like, yeah, it's Florian Montanao or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird.
There he goes. He is Psycho Krieg.
Yeah.
Big Nasty.
All I'm going to say is he's going to ride the hold on. He is going to ride the meat bicycle. Mhm.
Okay. Is it a
That
good
he
thing?
will.
Does he enjoy the meat bicycle?
No, he is a psycho, so his mind doesn't work as
I'm
as
on the
it
carnivore
should.
diet. I'd probably like the meat bicycle. What about you, Blaine? You're carnivore. Do you think you'd like the meat bicycle?
That's too much ass.
And remember, he's also the conductor of the poop train.
Oh, gross. Not one of those.
That's the psycho side. That's from. I don't want to give away too much of it because as far as how these psychos came to be on Pandora, because it's part of the deeper lore, and if I tell you, it'll help it make more sense, but it also
Oh, yeah, I'd
might
have to kill
ruin
you.
some of the surprises of it. So
Mm.
just know that if you run into a psycho, you're quite literally running into a psycho. And there's a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
Billions of them
Billion.
across the galaxy. But most of them are on Pandora.
It's got nice weather. It's
Good.
all hot all the time.
Pandora does not have good weather. Pandora is hot skag ass.
Yeah, it's great.
Ugh. But anyways, yeah, it's. I think you'll enjoy it for what it is. Check out the trailer. I would say do a reaction. I think you'll be pleasantly, reasonably surprised. So that's just me. Yeah, what do I know?
I might. If I basically me doing a reaction to the trailer is going to be dependent on what is in the news right now. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy doing trailer reactions, but I also, I want to cover like stories I think affect nerd culture when they're, popping up. So it depends on if anything happened today while I've been away to, worth talking about.
I haven't paid much attention to anything else other than the Nintendo Direct. They got a few rare games, but they didn't get some of them that some people were maybe thinking that they might be able to get. But
They never get those games that people are hoping for, really.
well, there is one, but unfortunately, it's not translated. They put
which
Mother
one?
3 on the service.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Good for
but it's
JP.
Japanese only. So
It'd be funny if they put it in NA, but it still wasn't translated.
Technically, you can get an NA; it just wouldn't be translated.
Yeah.
You just need a Nintendo account. You don't even need it to be online. Just get a Nintendo account on your Switch, and you can download their online.
yeah, no. Well, I'm fairly sure someone
Yeah, I
has
can
one
see
of the
that
original ROMs with the fan translation. That's probably going to be the only way you'll ever be able to play it, unless you learn Japanese inside and out. So
I'm sure there's only like 50 words in that game. I don't. You could learn. You could learn in a weekend at Duolingo. I believe in you.
I don't have that type of time. I actually should be watching a Lotus War and My Hero, but I'll get to that. I'll finish Lotus War tomorrow,
Good.
or at least the first season of Lotus War, the OVA.
Nice.
Yep. Oh, let's see. What the hell do I have going on tomorrow? I don't even remember.
Your daily German Duolingo. That's not going to help you in Japan.
But it will help him order a bratwurst.
The
bratwurst.
Harder to order a brat.
9.
Dude, I went out with my buddy a couple nights ago. It was Monday night, and because Monday is cheat day, and he was really feeling Mexican food. And I was like, all right, we'll do Mexican. And we went to a Mexican restaurant. It was like a real Mexican restaurant where like only Mexicans work there, because that's the only way you can get good Mexican food. And
How many Mexican restaurants have you ever gone to that had like white people working there?
bro, I live in the
Good
Midwest.
question.
Yeah, an unfortunate amount.
I say, I guess I'm on the West Coast, but I don't see that. It's Asians.
No, that's a pretty common thing around here. It's like,
Asians
hey,
or
it's Mexican food, and it might have a Mexican owner, but like all the employees are whiteys. No, this was like the place you go in and you have to ask them to repeat themselves a few times because you have no fucking idea what they said because of the accent. So it was that kind of Mexican food, and it was awesome. It tasted great, but my dumbass friend, as we're leaving, the guy hands us the food and he says gracias, and I fucking roasted. It was so, I can't stand when people do that. Like, be the white person that says the only Spanish word they know. Now, to be fair, he actually does know a fair amount of Spanish, but it still felt so like pandering. Like, I was like, they probably spit in this food. Thanks, man.
I got to break out the Chinese for a massage the other day. That was great.
Wait, what?
She like
you went to like an Asian massage place. Those are the best places.
Yeah, and like my feet were like exposed, and she like pulled the towel down. And I was like, "Shisha." It's like one of like 3 things I know in Chinese.
Oh yeah.
Knowledge of Chinese, I'll be real. Honkies make the best Mexican food. Sam Houston proved that. IJP Mexican said, "Let the man say thank you." Yeah, he could have said thank you in fucking English. We live in the mid goddamn West. You need to be pandering and say gracias like it's the only Mexican word that a white boy knows to a kitchen full of Mexicans.
He just wants to feel like it's worth something to know that it means gracias. He's not pandering. He knows that guy's gonna go make fun of him later. He just wants to be like,
actually, he didn't, because as we're walking back out to the car after we leave the building, I started roasting him for it. We get in the car. He goes, "Was it really that cringe?" I was like, "Bro." He's like, "Fuck, it was, wasn't it?" I was like, "Yeah." And we get home, and the first thing he does is he looks to my grandmother, and he goes, "So, Leon made fun of me for doing something, and now that I thought about it, he's right. I shouldn't have done it." Like,
bruh, yeah.
Eat shit Mexican Santa Ana was a pussy, is what Jim and Iyer says.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get my ass to bed. I have to go into the office again tomorrow.
Yeah, so do I, but not till 3 in the afternoon, so I'm good. It's only 11 o'clock my time. I still gotta make a video and everything, but I'm not tripping on. I'll probably hop off here in like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that. Enough time to make a video.
Yeah, that you do.
And then I'm gonna beat Skyward Sword after taking a couple days off because fuck that game.
Skyward Sword?
Really?
I hate that game.
Yeah, fuck that game.
That's where I'm at with it. Like, it is, I like it a little bit more than I did when I played it in 2011, but I still hold pretty steadfast in my beliefs that it is the worst 3D Zelda game.
I played through it before. I'm hating playing through it now, but I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna play it.
It's at least better than Twilight Princess.
Oh,
all right.
Better than Twilight? Whoa!
Someone's. I didn't see who said that, but someone's retarded.
Bugger said that.
Yeah, that's.
He's trying to get a rise out of me. That's what it is. I ain't gonna fall for that. Bait used to be believable.
You know who falls for that? Lofty falls for that.
Well, you fall for that.
All right, guys, I'm out. You have yourself a good night.
Catch you later, buddy.
Take care.
But yeah, no, like the Skyward Sword Switch port allows you to play without motion controls. So I thought, the game's gonna be better, and in a lot of ways it is. In a lot of other ways, no, you could tell that game was designed for motion controls, and the non-motion controls fucking suck.
Yeah, so
and
you just suck it up and play with motion controls.
But the motion control version of the game sucks. That's why it was bad when it came out originally.
What is up, brother? It's been forever. How are things going?
You sound like an old man, Blaine.
How's death? It's our favorite Mayo monkey. What do you mean I sound like an old person?
Like, hey, Joe Ball, what's up, guys?
Joe Ball, I haven't seen you since we got back from Nam.
Yeah, it's like that.
Whatever. Leon, you've never met Joe Ball, I don't think.
I don't think I've met Joe Ball. No, I think Joe's new to me.
Let me pull up some Joe Ball. And then
working himself to death, apparently.
So This is Joe Ball's Twitter. I highly recommend you follow him.
Yeah, I'll drop him a follow. Let's see. What is it? Oh, perfect. You just threw it in the chat.
I got you. So he does this beautiful work here. Oh, I can't zoom in on it. Thanks, Twitter.
Oh, that's actually
You have
sick.
to
I won't
open
even
it
lie.
up
That's
in a
sick as
different
shit.
tab, and then you can zoom in on it.
You have to do this. Just do this.
No, open it and then open a new tab.
God, why does this suck so bad sometimes?
Yeah, that is
That's a
awesome.
booty.
That's a
I like
booty.
the ass. Representation.
Working yourself
I
to
dig it.
death. I feel like the last time I was encountering you, you were like, yes, I was paid. Leave me alone. And I was like, whoa, what is going on over there? Because that whole side of the internet just sort of like randomly pops into my feed. But let me just go to media. That'll be easier.
When was that? Like a couple weeks ago?
That was whenever I think it was Yellow Flash was getting shit on because he was talking to EVS about something.
Yeah.
Oh
that
no,
was like
it's
the beginning of
because
the
he
year.
backstabbed DVS.
Oh, he backstabbed EVS?
Yeah.
I don't know any of what's going on.
I've been staying out of that discourse because I think it's fucking retarded. But from what I've gathered, I think it was actually EVS that did the backstabbing. But again, it doesn't really matter because they're
No, Yellow Flash leaked his prices because he said they were too high.
Oh yeah, I mean there was stuff that went on. The leaking of the prices was in response.
Comic book
to
Twitter is big
other
gay.
bullshit,
It big true.
I
Comic book
agree,
Twitter
I
should
agree,
just
Joey.
be Joe Ball's page, where it's like, look
Oh,
at
to
this
be
new
fair,
page
no,
I finished.
Tyler Clark from Draw and Talk is also awesome. I will vouch for Tyler Clark. He is.
Does he
he's
just
a-
post
yeah.
cool stuff he did?
He posts cool stuff he does, and then talks about how people need to have business acumen and focus on working on their comics and not the drama.
God, look at this. I can't wait. So this is all from his upcoming book, Death.
I made one fucking video on Eric July, a single video on Eric July, and it brought out like the cream of the crop in terms of tards on both sides in my comment section. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't like Eric July at all.
We make fun of Eric July all the time, but we've yet to have the tard attack. When does that come?
You've had some people comment about it.
Have I?
Yeah, you just didn't notice. Look over some of your previous stuff that had
Dude,
Eric July mentioned.
over half the comments were talking about EVS. I'm like, fuck, just say you didn't watch my video then, because I don't bring up EVS once in my goddamn video. It had nothing to do with EVS. It was completely unrelated, but because it was happening at a time with apparently some EVS drama, everyone dropped in to talk about EVS. I'm like,
Yeah,
at
because
least
basically Eric
watch the
July was
fucking
shitting on
video.
EVS.
At least watch the video before you comment
What
something
was
that's
your video
no god-
about again?
It was about Eric July supposedly hiring some ex-liberals who did some satanic incest.
Oh
Something
yeah, forgot about
Oh,
that.
I remember that video. We talked about it after the fact.
like the comic discourse on Twitter is fucking retarded. Like, I love having indie comic creators on my show, but also not right. I'm not doing it right now. I'm not having any indie comic creators on my show if that's what they want to talk about. I've had one interaction with EVS, maybe two. They've both been fine. I don't give a fuck. Like,
How is
it's
it still stuck? Verify, you bastard.
Joe Ball says Tyler's too normal for comic books. Maybe that's why I like the guy so much. Again, he's always been a sweetheart to me. So, and I like his books. I genuinely like his books. But yeah, he's a very normal guy, which I think is why he's the only person on comics Twitter now, aside from you, Joe, that I'm probably going to end up, enjoying actually following. I like Jason Sandberg as well, but he's very good about not being on Twitter. So he hops on Twitter, says, "Hey, come watch my stream," and then bounces out.
Yeah, definitely ignore these comic creators.
Avoid all comic creators. I'm a creative. I'm making a universe. I'm making a world. I'm gonna stick it to Marvel. I think that's the biggest thing that I noticed from a lot of the self-labeled Comicsgate people is that because they're coming from a place of I'm gonna do what Marvel won't, or I'm gonna say what Marvel won't, or I'm gonna beat, like, everything comes from that place of that competitive, I've got to beat Marvel. it just leads to this sort of generic negativity across the board with things that I think leads to just a more boring thing to view. Like, Bunger, you were saying you went through like Yellow Flash's videos and you're like, man, everything is just complaining about something.
Everything's negative. I don't think he cares about a single thing he talks about, like any Yakuza. I don't think he's played a single Yakuza game.
Yeah.
So
he's talked
that
about
was
it
that has
several
been
times.
my experience with Yellow Flash. For like, I obviously I used to watch him back in the day, especially when the Vic Mignogna stuff was going down. But for the last like 2.5 years, I've been very much in the camp of, especially when they had Director X on the show, because I got to talk with Director X. It was a very awesome conversation. I don't like the guy very much, but I at least appreciate him, respect him. They were making such disingenuous bullshit arguments towards Director X. I'm like, Jesus Christ, way to make this guy, who I do think is kind of fucking retarded, look like the good guy on your show. Like I've lost a lot of respect for Yellow Flash over the last 2.5 years.
I never really had respect for Yellow Flash because I just never liked his content. I had
Yeah.
nothing. He gave me nothing. He was just worse at everything than other people.
You only ever really watched him for like, well, at least me, the collective you, but like only ever watched him for his live streams where he had a bunch of people on. And it
On
was
the
never
Flash
really
cast,
I didn't
when
even watch.
him
I
and
didn't even
Lofty
watch their
yelled at each other?
Flashcast because I didn't really like how he ran it. And then I kind of get proven right by him burning bridges with people randomly for no.
Yeah,
no good
Lofty.
reason. Yeah, Lofty isn't the only person.
True.
So I stopped watching Flashcast after he on stream burned his bridge with the quartering, when the quartering was
Yeah.
like Yellow Flash and the quartering were going at it. In my opinion, the quartering was completely in the right, but again, that's just my own subjective opinion. But Lofty, believe it or not, was the one trying to make peace between the two and trying to mediate during the stream, being completely
I know that one.
normal. Like, Lofty came out as the only winner in that fucking stream. And from that point on, I was like, all right, I'm done watching Flashcast. Then they did the Director X show. So I watched that one because we had streamed with them a few days prior. And I wanted to see if they handled it differently than we did. Yeah, they handled it much differently. They were awful at it. And then I've watched it once since because a buddy of mine was on the show and I wanted to support him.
Hmm. Okay, but what if instead of starting our show, Blaine's show, at 7 p.m., what if we played an hour of music first?
I'd be on time.
I can't stand that. That's actually one thing that annoys me about Friday Night Nights. I have no idea whenever that thing starts.
Oh,
'cause,
Friday
like,
Night Nights, Flashcast, everyone.
It's like I have no idea whenever that show is going to start, dude. It's like always different. The biggest
I don't
problem-
watch Friday Night Nights just
biggest
because,
prob-
like,
I was gonna say the biggest problem is the fact that it's like it's live. If it goes live and then it's live, that's fine. But the YouTube notification isn't correct. Whenever it goes live is when it's, I don't know. Who knows when it's gonna actually start? It's just live an hour beforehand.
Behold, Joe Balls appeared.
What's up, Joe?
What
Let's
is
talk
up?
about
How you
our
doing,
July. Yeah.
It's been forever, pimp. How you do?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, brothers. Just
Your
drawing
fingers haven't
stupid
fallen off
pictures.
yet.
They're getting there, man. Like it's I'm in my early 40s now, and it's like the amount of artwork I used to be able to crunch out, like just when I was 38, compared to like 41. It's like two different worlds, even though it's not a long period of time, between the two. So it's I like fall asleep. I don't really fall asleep. I black out at my desk at some point, basically every
Oh,
night,
man.
and preemptively set alarms and hope for the best. But that's not for sympathy. It's just a life reality. If you're sleepy and you're in a spot that you can sleep in, you're gonna eventually just fall asleep.
You still doing commissions and stuff on top of that, or you kind of turned that
Yeah.
way down?
I mean, I have slowed extra work down a lot. Like I won't take on any big page counts because I can't commit to
Yeah.
20 and 30 and 40 pages anymore. But yeah, covers, splash page, just stuff that I can knock out in like 4 to 6 hours. Something I can do quickly and easily. I take on a lot of that stuff still, but it's a necessity. I still got to bring some money in while I'm trying to get my book done. So
Exactly, yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, I could go to a restaurant or to Amazon, but why do that when I can sit and chain smoke at my desk and just draw a few silly pictures and get paid.
That is
So
why I love working from home. This guy can smoke while I work.
yeah,
I've never
I
seen
have-
you not puffing.
Yeah,
Every
mean,
time, yeah.
I'm holding a bong as well right now. I just am trying to get in the zone here so I can draw good. A lot of caffeine, a lot of nicotine. Basically, anything that ends in "ine" has kept me
Oh,
functioning.
but what about graphene? Graphene is this quark lattice structure that's going to replace steel.
Dude,
I-
I
yeah, I'm-
cannot wait to talk to Ian someday. That sounds like a
Same.
blast.
I've messaged him. I never got anything back because I would genuinely love to talk with Ian, like straight up.
I've
There'd be
snorted
so
a lot
many
of graphene
conspiracy
in my
you guys
days.
could
It's
talk
good
about.
stuff.
Oh my goodness.
He is absolutely my favorite part of that show. I anytime he's not on, I get bummed.
Oh my goodness.
IJP says classic Ian. Yeah, he said it ends with Ian. I had to throw it out there for all for the great references. Although to be fair, I love hearing him talk about graphene. I he makes me believe in the product. I want to see a future with graphene now because of him. So
That is true. He is like
What's the topic tonight, Blaine? What do you guys? What were you talking about prior to being derailed by like gay comic books?
Oh, it's derail time. This is
There's
the
never a
first
derail.
of
I
our
don't know what
game
people are
dev
talking about.
nights. So we start out looking at all the anime waifus and rating which one's the best this season. And
Yeah.
then now we transition into me
I don't think you ever did that.
stumbling around trying to figure out how to design games.
I don't remember seeing the waifu chart go up.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
think
did
we
it?
actually did. Yeah, we never actually did the waifu tier list.
All right, we can make some of our adjustments for the waifu list.
Dude, I'm
Yeah,
killer
we-
with Mario Maker 2. Does that count as being a game dev?
Yes, you are a game dev.
Hell yeah, dude. I make the most Mario 3 levels. I even call mine Mario 3.5 because it's not different
Gnar
enough.
Mario levels.
Yeah, it's Gnar, like gnarly. I make the most Gnar ass.
No,
Super Mario 3
I also
levels.
snowboard. I'm familiar. I just wasn't expecting to hear that from you.
It's one of those adjectives that some people catch and they appreciate, and then others are just like, "What is this guy even talking about?"
Oh, dude.
I'm like, it's like Narkill. It's just a cool word you can put before other words that makes it even the next word even cooler than the word before. So it starts with Nar.
I see why old men would understand this.
What do you mean, old men? You just got to get on a snowboard and you'll know Gnar.
Yeah,
Well-
it's true. The moment your feet touch a snowboard, that knowledge just comes to you instantly, as if it's been with you your entire life.
It's an
Rena's going
80s not
straight
thing,
to S
so
tier.
It is kind of an old guy thing at this point, in all fairness.
Yeah, if Blaine knows what it is, it has to be an old guy thing.
Thanks. Did anybody else move this week? Sayuri's kind of fallen down a little bit. I feel like
It's
she's
just
sort
because
of-
she hasn't gotten a lot of screen time, unfortunately.
But she does get screen time. But every time she gets it, she's like, "I'm playing video games," and you're like, "Okay, cool."
She's not being an active participant in her life, just like video
I
gamers.
I personally, you know what? Never mind. That's pretty fair. You got Lum where she should be. You got Minami where she should be. Oh, you put Rena up there, huh?
Oh, immediately. I liked her the second we saw her earrings. She's got little shuriken earrings, and I'm like, hell yeah. I'm in that. The earring, that is.
Where do
I
you
think
have
you should
Marcel?
put
I'm
Naomi
trying-
in
I'm trying
F
to
tier.
think.
Naomi?
I think
Want her
she's
in
an
F tier?
Yeah, I think she's
Trash.
an F tier.
I may
Do
be
you guys-
blind.
do you
I'm
guys
not
disagree?
seeing Marcel on here.
Marcel is middle, I thought. Her name's not Marcel, though.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm.
The fuck is it called? It is, but like when I make these, I use like the name that comes from like the manga or whatever gets originally posted, and
Okay.
sometimes it changes. That's why it's like Minami, but for the first few episodes, she's called Fuki, right? Where is Delicious and
I don't think you put her on there.
Got Delicious D, Delicious D. She's not down here. How could she not be on here?
Oh yeah, I'm wondering the same
Mine
thing.
too.
She's
That
easily at
happens.
least B tier.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, I
that's
think
okay.
that her willingness to want to help no matter what, I do love that. Granted, she wants to do it with magic, which is the easy way out.
Yeah, you
but
need
like,
to check the not added yet.
No, it's not down here. I'm gonna have to make a new one. Make a new tile.
Weird.
Yeah, you forgot to add her.
It's weird that she wouldn't be in it. She's literally like the primary.
Well, no, I think
You know,
if I
gets
remember
to stay
correctly,
F tier.
you looked at their image and were like, "That's not a girl on any list." And I think you've done that multiple times.
and to be fair, it's hard to tell sometimes.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Ashura has any waifus except for like one,
They're all trash.
and the only one that's any good is blind, so she can't even see. She can't see you.
Oh, well, that means that Brandon's got a chance with her.
You're right. I did look at that and say, that's not a woman.
Yep.
Why would they pick this image? Like, is this what she looks like in the manga?
You can pick a different one.
No, I don't think, because I've seen panels from the manga, and in the manga she looks feminine. Like, what is that?
I think it's like from a cover.
Cover art.
Yeah.
They paid someone who wasn't that good.
You probably have one of her like on your PC somewhere. Just
Hey,
not added.
why? Why would I just have her on my
Because I
PC?
think you've made one for her multiple times. You just forget to add her.
Do I? Hold on.
Yeah.
I have these well organized, so if I do, it'll be easy to find.
We've definitely had this conversation.
Don't pull
organized,
up your photo history on stream. You don't want to be vashed.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
unlike
the whole-
Vosh, I can show my photo history because it's literally just headshots of waifus and Gojo.
My favorite of everything that came out of that whole Vosh situation, there was one meme that was like, everyone's talking about all the lolly, porn he has. But what weirds me out the most is this right next to his file labeled taxes. It's like,
You all know taxes was he was like, I'm gonna write this taxes, so if anybody sees this, it'll just say tax on it. Not knowing that it would have previews of everything else in it.
That's
What a
because he didn't
weirdo.
sort it yet.
Yeah,
it's
it was all
unsorted
fresh downloads.
Fresh. I think that's listening to the President Sunday video. That was one of the things where I was like, oh, this is way worse than even I originally was like thinking of. That's just a cross section. That's like
I
you know, like when they do a
everything
brain
as I
scan and they
download
just
it,
like
so I
hit
don't know-
one
I don't know why
slice.
you'd have that issue. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, what definitely caused the issue was he had been beating it right before stream.
Gross. I mean, obviously it's better for us because we don't have to have that witnessed as we scroll through our Twitter timelines of Vosh pulling a dark side Phil.
Well, look,
with
do we
lolly
really,
horses.
do we really want Vaush doing a live stream when he's fully torqued and fully loaded? No, it'll be a
Oh,
nightmare.
does
He'll
Cameron-
twice as tight. He'll be twice as obnoxious and irritating. Just let him coom, get it out of his system, untorque, and then he's solid. He's ready to just be greasy and weird, and not greasy, weird, and grumpy. Nobody likes a grumpy guy.
Yeah, no one wants him angry.
That's a
You
great
seem a
way
little
to put it.
pent up. Why don't you relax a little?
Back off, motherfucker. It's like, okay, boss, chill, my dude. Go squeeze one out in the bathroom real quick. Keep it off the wall. And,
Keep it off the wall.
if you put a black light up like next to his toilet, it's not piss everywhere. It's just all the times he missed. He's just sprayed up just all over the wall.
It's like modern art meets Jackson Pollock.
Yeah. See, it's he calls it a Vaush. He actually has a name for it. When he sprays
Well,
on the wall in accident, he goes,
Vaush.
"Ah, it's a Vaush. I just pulled a Vaush." Ah, and then he twitches a few times and pulls his drawers up.
I have to call my own name whenever I do this.
Yeah. Oh, Vaush.
I'm voshing.
It's like when Steve Grohl is getting juiced at the fertility clinic, and he's on the machine,
Oh,
and he just starts screaming out, "I'm dry! Make it stop! I'm dry!"
that horse got me bricked up. Who just was it on stream or was it in my real life where someone learned the term bricked up? Was that
Me, I think.
was that you? Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's such a good phrase. Describes it so well. Okay,
God
I
bless
think
America. You know what I mean?
I'm switching to Unity because Unreal's not doing anything yet, so at least I'll learn more.
So yeah, your Unreal was not downloading properly.
It just wouldn't verify whatever the hell that means. So I blame Epic, and I'm moving on to Unity, and I'll figure it out. I know the guy that does Dream Maker Studios, who's doing the Zelda Dungeon Maker game. That guy's using Unity, so if he
Is
can
the one
make
that
that
has
game.
the chicken character?
No, that's the one where I played it on stream a couple times, but it's basically like what if you had
Oh, you
the
mean the
full like Mario
randomizer?
game maker. No, not the randomizer. This is the
I don't know. You played on stream then.
this one.
So I don't think you played that on stream.
I played this on stream. It was a long time ago, but he's all of this is stuff that you can like make in the game. And he knew. Oh, he retweets a lot of stuff.
You go to the media tab.
There you go. So he also does like this stuff. So this is all like it's very linked to the past, but you still have things that go like up and down, which I like. So I think as long as you can maintain the depth, that should work.
You need that, don't you?
In the final game, yeah. And the purpose of the tactics game is so that I can learn the engine that'll be the final game. So I think I'll be okay doing Unity. If it works. So far, so good. It's loading. Oh. Also, my my Stardew Valley is now fully modded.
With what?
Fully modded. I have everything.
It's fully loaded.
Portraits. I
Did
have
you just add a bunch of random mods?
I have like a
'Cause that's not gonna be good.
I have like a portrait loader, so I can like cycle through them, and we can pick which ones we think are the best. And I've updated. I got the harem mod, so we can have harems now. What else did I add?
I vote for the furry portrait.
The furry portrait? Send it to me.
Oh, you didn't download those ones, damn it.
No, I didn't. I got most of the anime ones.
Pathetic.
Pathetic.
So you can use different portraits from different ones at the same time then?
You can
Or do you have to
use
use a full set?
Yeah, it's actually really nice. You can lock in certain characters to certain sets.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's such that so like here's my mod list. Like half of these, maybe 90% of them actually, are just to make the other things work. But you can also make your own folders and like move the various images in that you like. So like we got new Abigail.
Oh, that's AI.
And there's a bunch of stuff going on. So that'll be fun.
Blaine, once Death is done, I think I'm just gonna switch to AI. I've had enough of this drawing for the birds.
I've had enough of drawing. And the thing is, the more you draw, the more you can put your own stuff in
Here
there.
you go, Blaine.
I don't think AI could possibly recreate your style. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it has any idea of what's going on
if he teaches the AI with all of his art, he could get something close, and then he just has to edit it.
I think I'm just gonna put in a bunch of Waifu pictures and actually make money. I think that's what I'll do.
I mean, you can straight up start an account on the side that just does AI art, open a Patreon, and just do commissions on that, and just a bunch of pictures.
I'm considering it, and I feel justified in it because I've already sank like almost 40 years of my life into drawing, and I'm pretty good at it.
Pay you to do nothing. Let them.
Yeah. If anybody comes at me, I'll be like, yeah, I can draw it too, but I'm tired and I'm old. and I shouldn't have to chain smoke at a desk all my life to get some artwork done. This is ridiculous.
I hate
Cut me
that.
some slack.
Yeah, this is horrifying.
Look, it's Vosh as a goat.
No,
Oh,
that's
God.
no, that's Asgore.
Asgore.
That's Asgore from Undertale.
Furries are a strange ethnicity. What country do they hail from? originally?
Bro, no.
I think they have
Blaine
the
introduced
pink,
me to Blaine.
teal,
What
and-
you introduced me
and the
to
Blaine.
that wasn't
blue
furry,
and
but it
white
was like
flag
furry
in the bio.
adjacent.
Therians, yeah. Therians.
Therians, that's right. Therians are even weirder than furries, dude. I swear. Blaine got me down this rabbit hole one day, and it was terrifying.
The fuck's a Therian?
They don't even try to be furry. They just put on a mask, wear a tail, and walk on all fours.
Thanks for describing before I typed it in.
Yeah.
I've been trying to warn people for years. These Eastern Europeans, you can't trust them. I mean, look at them. Good
Yeah,
Lord.
look at him.
I mean, he calls them Furies. I Furians. I call them what they are.
I call him Furion. Furion is a hero in Dota 2, okay?
Furion sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, he is pretty cool. Basically, what he does is he can teleport anywhere on the map every, 30 seconds. And that's, his main ability. And that's
That's a good one to have.
Yeah. His main use is the mobility, and he can also destroy enemy buildings quickly because that's another ability he has. He can make summons as one of his skills. So yeah, he's a fun hero, but he also kind of sucks usually because of how useful he is. They have to keep him weak, or else pro players will be way too strong with him because of just how powerful teleporting is.
Furries are an Italian invention. Steve
You're welcome.
Galacci,
Good
You're
Lord.
welcome.
The word, anyways. Yeah.
in 1980.
The actual
This
origin of
makes
furries
sense
goes
why
further
I was
back,
always
way
uneasy with
further back.
Mario.
Because it was it used to be called something else. I've seen different documentaries and stuff on it, but it didn't used to be called furries
Voodie.
before that. I don't remember now.
A pair of cartoonists created the Amateur Press Association Voodie, which was dedicated to animal-focused art, and its features contained adult themes.
I think it was just I think people usually just called it cartoon animals. Or
Can we
something
just
like
blame the Saudis or something? And
that.
like,
No, Saudis actually don't have anything to do with this. It's probably just it's mostly the hippies, really.
the
The
hippies.
Saudis are way
I
too
blame
cool for this
whoever-
shit. The Saudis would be throwing furries off of fucking palace ceilings and roofs and shit. The
Which are the
Saudis
ones that
are
make
They'd
love
be
to goats?
catapulting me into the ghosts. That was both the Welsh and the Iranians.
The Welsh.
Yeah.
Who
we gotta
really
drag the
should
Welsh
blame-
into this.
Okay, maybe sheep. Maybe not goats. It's sheep, but still, Middle Eastern goat herders and then sheep for the Welsh.
No, the people you
I
need to
got to
blame-
bounce out because I've got about 10 more minutes of work, and then
The
I've got
Welsh.
to,
I'm out of here.
Fuck the Welsh. No, I've got to still make a video for tomorrow. Plus, I've got to do a little bit more work before I bounce for the night. But it has been awesome to be back after finally getting everything sorted, and I will see all you crazy cats on Friday.
Yeah,
All
sounds
right.
good.
See you, Leon.
Mhm.
Yeah, you
Yep,
guys
later,
as
man.
well. Catch you later. Nice meeting you, Joe.
You too, man.
Bye, guys.
I was gonna say, if you want to know what Leon does, he basically does news segments every day. That's what he likes doing.
Nerdy news daily.
Yeah.
Creating 2D table, 2D array.
Okay, but have any of you seen the animated Robin Hood movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
blame them.
That was way later than 1980.
It was a
Wasn't
contributing
that far off.
factor. Yeah, it was a contributing factor.
No, it was 1973. Jeez, that
Yeah.
movie's old.
Okay. then
Yeah,
yes.
it was a contributing factor, like I said.
I actually blame the Trash Taste podcast for furries.
Of course. Anytime we can push it off on Trash Taste, that's the real answer.
I remember when Hassan was simping for furries on their podcast.
Hassan
I remember
was
when they had
simping
Hassan on their
for
podcast,
furries?
and it's kind of gross, honestly.
I'm just making up. He probably didn't say that, but he said a bunch of other stupid shit on their
He
podcast.
might have.
He says stupid shit anytime he talks.
Yeah, but he popularized. I can't speak. He popularized.
Popularized.
Popularized. Yeah, okay. That word
popularized.
He popularized the idea of Luffy being a terrorist.
God, that's still one of the weirdest
It's actually so
things.
annoying that they didn't stop him on that either.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't
none
really
of them
expect them
actually-
to do anything. They
yeah.
don't actually watch anime anymore.
Well, none of them were going to think through the logic of Luffy being a terrorist.
Is this going to use an array?
Like, oh,
Well,
what
I mean,
political
It's
message?
very
is he-
much in line with my theory of Ariel from The Little Mermaid also being a deep sea terrorist. So, it's, once you see the light, once you see the truth, once the blinders are off and you can see what's really going on out there, man, you know who all the cartoon terrorists are.
It's unfortunate that
great.
you waited until Leon left.
They just had an entire stream earlier this week we were making fun of him for, where they went into like every conspiracy. Like sometimes people believe like one conspiracy and then they're like, yeah, but like fluoride in the water, like that's just a distraction so that you don't notice the real. This bro was in on all of them. All of them. Fluoride, vaccines, 9/11 was completely fabricated. The earth is flat. Like, it just, you name it. And that was, he's like, yep, it's true. I've researched it. I'm like, all of this? Like,
That's
people
the
like him are
problem.
why I can't respect conspiracy theories
Yeah.
and why I usually hate them. It's like they just talk about insane shit that couldn't possibly make sense and also has no motivation behind it. It's like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's against the rules to be into all of them because inevitably
Yeah.
that means at least half of them contradict the other half, and you can't.
Mhm.
It's like you almost. I know some people would disagree, but it's like you can't be a Christian and also be like full on like the UFO thing at the same time. Like you're gonna run into problems in there that you can't explain away on both sides. Just on
what'd be like a big one for you that you'd say contradicts pretty heavily in that, in terms of being a Christian, also believing in like aliens or something, something like that.
I'd have to think on it for a minute, but there are some things out there I've come across in my time, like people that believe the world's being ran by like satanic Jews and satanic Masons and satanic, Knights of Malta. The list goes on. Every little
secret organization.
But they're also atheist or something like that, or cough at God. It's like, well, you can't believe. Like, if the most powerful people in the world believe in Satan, that means by default they believe in God.
Yeah.
So like, there's just little things like that that kind of bug me sometimes. Or like, I'll hear Eddie Bravo. Like, I like him; he's funny sometimes, but the dude believes literally every single conspiracy theory. Or like the people that think nukes aren't real. It's like, no matter how many times I Google it, you never get an answer on why they think that. There's just a lot of these little weird things, like people that thought there was something with the COVID shot and a signal being put out through 5G that was going to do something.
That was great.
No matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find what the rationale was.
Yeah,
like, what's the explanation though? Like, how do these two things connect? Because none of you will explain what the actual why one thing causes the other thing to do something.
Exactly. Because for me, it's like I didn't get the shot because I got COVID. Why do I need to? Like, what was the vaccine for? It's like it, and then the people that tell you, oh, you got to get the
always
shot.
NH.
And then they just like start breaking down. Like, you have to do it anyways. It's like there's no actual connection between logic there. But then I also would get lumped in with other conspiracy theorists that say 5G shot, connection, government, aliens, and all this other stuff. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
annoying.
like the liberal side of it's just as bad. They just have different types of platforms to yell their silliness out on. They get to do it on MSNBC and wear suits, while Alex Jones does it on the internet and friggin' pounds his desk and manly roars every morning. But it's tough too, because we know there's a huge portion of it that is 100% true. Like, it's not even a conspiracy, but you can't really do anything with that when the people that agree with you are all fucking Looney Tunes about shit that's really not that important. Doesn't
Yeah,
even matter.
exactly.
I have people that still want to debate JFK's assassination. I'm like, it's so irrelevant at this point. I don't want to talk about it. My parents were boomers. I've been hearing about this since I was a little child. It's not going to change anything.
The most insane conspiracy I heard that caused me to stop watching a stream wasn't even from the guy they brought on. I think it was actually Mugen Lord that said it. It was one of Leon's friends. That the government is going to holo project, or is going to
Oh,
project
yeah.
like the hologram to everybody in the world, to all these different nations, to convince them that God and religions don't exist, and that we need to have a one world government because they're going to fake an alien invasion that we need to all come together for under a one world government.
Which is something that if you believe that now, like people that tell me this now, I'm like, look, I get what you're saying. It's not that I don't comprehend the ideas. It's that
No, it
it's too
sounds
late.
retarded.
It's too late for that. Like that would only work in pre 1990, and even then, it would still be a stretch. Because we know too much. We know too much about technology. We know how easy it is.
No, you don't get
You
it.
know.
The government is 100 years ahead of what we know now.
Yeah, that was the other
They're
thing.
100 years ahead of what we know.
The same government that's been using Windows 95 for the past 50 years is 100 years ahead of us on technology.
Yeah.
We'll fool them with little glowy drones in the sky.
Yeah,
like
drones.
we all have them. Their commercial use. It's not going to work.
It's not quite right. I need to bump it up a little bit. So I was just like adjusting the camera.
Dude,
Goodbye,
you should have heard
microphone.
you should have heard the actual 9/11 conspiracy they had, because I don't know if he was making it up on the spot, but he was talking about how like something about obviously the buildings were already planned to be demolished, but they didn't plan to destroy them during 9/11. What happened was there were nukes on the planes, and in order to save the world, they need to.
No,
get rid
they
of
were
them.
worure there were nukes on the planes.
How
Oh, they
have
were just
that.
worried
the
about it,
planes?
so they crashed
I don't
into the Twin
know.
Towers.
Why would they be? They were commercial airliners.
They were sealing them away with the pre-planned detonation.
They came in too low to be commercial.
You mean because they were hijacked?
No,
They were too heavy.
What does it even
because
mean
of
they
the heat.
came in too low? I don't get.
It's
That's
the
why- that's why I had to
exact
stop.
pattern that a missile that Russia has would take.
So when it hit the towers, they decided now we're gonna blow it up to blow up the nuke so it doesn't go off.
No, to seal them away.
To seal away the nukes.
Yeah,
they
like a
did-
mummy.
That's what I mean. It's like that is insane shit.
It's like
Yeah.
putting something inside a cave and then blowing up the entrance, like causing a cave in.
Yeah, just
There's a dude that does like I guess you could call it a creepypasta. I'd have to look his name up, but it's called something like Monster Monuments or something like that,
Oh,
and it's
Monument Mythos, yeah.
Monument Mythos.
Yeah,
and
dude,
it's really
that's
well
such
done.
a good story.
That's like something I'm super jealous of. Like I wish I would have thought up. Even the loose ends that are left on parts of it or things like that. It's just like this is so weird and so creative. Like I'm so jealous that like I didn't come up with this. There's God knows what's under and inside the monuments that cause weird anomalies and weird things to happen and disappearance. Like it's so cool. I'm like, who needs like if someone has cool conspiracies, just make it into cool creepypasta so we can enjoy it as entertainment instead of having to debate retards that think it's real.
Yeah.
Totally.
Dude, it was so
Well,
fun.
With 9/11, I'll tell you what's weird about that is there's plenty of factual things related to it that I feel like have gotten lost.
Oh yeah, in
time
terms of like
since
stuff
it
the
happened.
government did incorrectly that they definitely didn't like take care of properly. Yeah, there's a bunch of different little things you could poke at.
So it's almost like you get to a point with some of this stuff where it's like, I'm not saying there wasn't some knowledge of what was going to go down. Clearly there were memos to tell basically everyone in Bush's cabinet to stay the fuck out of New York that day. We don't know why. We just know that I think Condoleezza Rice mentioned it in an interview. Handful of other little things like that where it's like, yeah, that stuff's strange, but saying like jet fuel heat doesn't melt steel. There's literally blacksmiths that will heat up the exact same type of steel to that heat level, and it bends just by barely touching it. barely touching
yeah,
it. So
it's,
yeah,
it will
it
bend
may
over,
not
it'll
melt,
bend
but it
under some
falls apart.
gravity. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe some weird stuff could have happened, or could have had the thermite, or God knows what. But from everything we can see right now, there's plenty of rationale to most of it kind of playing out the way it did. It would not shock me in those days if some Arabs just took over a plane. Like things were kind of loosey goosey back then. You know, it's just we didn't have any major issues. We're not in Israel. We didn't need guys with commandos walking around airports yet. So that most of it kind of adds up, even though it sounds ridiculous on paper. It's just, America's not used to people trying shit with us. So
Yeah. And you just reminded me, this has nothing to do with anything, but I watched a guy hammer a nail with just a hammer until the nail starts turning red because it's getting hot from the energy his hammer's putting into it. It's
yeah,
apparently a thing blacksmiths can do where they just hit something and it gets hot again if it starts getting too cold. And I was like, damn, that's cool. I just
yeah,
find
heat,
it amazing.
fuel, metals, like a lot of weird stuff can happen in that mix, and it's unfortunate. Like, and you don't have to be a chemist or college educated or even really that smart. You just got to know your basics in life to kind of comprehend this stuff, and that's what makes it even more frustrating is when you see like fucking capable adults that have kids and shit that are sold on things that are absolutely ridiculous. It's like, look, I believe some pretty ridiculous stuff just from a biblical standpoint. I would 100% believe that there were giants on this planet. I would 100% believe that there's a God and Jesus was real and angels mated with human women at one point. Like, I believe a lot of things that sound ridiculous, but I'm self-aware enough to go, yeah, I know how it sounds. But
Yeah.
this book, I fully believe everything in it, and that's just part of the deal. So
Exactly.
I'm not saying like all you conspiracy people are wrong. I'm just saying like we're all allowed to believe some ridiculous shit. Just be a little honest and self-aware when you're screaming it on people on the internet and telling them to do research like it's their favorite term. They tell you to do research when it's like this is like shit I learned in 5th grade, man. I don't really have to research it. I can literally go try it in the backyard if I wanted and verify that it works.
Right.
Oh well, we can move on. I don't need to sit here and complain about.
Nah, talking about this is fine. And what are you doing, Blaine?
I'm watching how to import tile maps video.
Okay, yeah, that's a good place to start. Yeah, just start making some maps.
I do got a lot of work to do here, boys, so I'm gonna hop off. But
Yeah, sure.
Blaine, thanks for having me. Good talking to you guys. I'll try to be better about staying in touch and popping in to at least say hi for a little bit.
Anytime, buddy. Believe me, I understand getting in that grind set and just working on it. But yeah, that link's permanent. Bookmark it, write it down on a notepad. It's always yours. You can always jump in the back, and I'm always happy to chat.
Awesome. Thank you very much, brother. You take it easy.
Yep, you as well. Okay, how do I? Okay,
Can you
create.
make an enemy faction that has like big noses and tiny hats?
I probably. You want the tiny hats round or square?
Square.
Good, because if you said round, I'm like, dude, these are pixels. Like,
Yeah. You can do that.
shit only gets so round. It's what the weirdest thing about what's going on right now is when I right click on something, it pops up on the other monitor. Like, I don't know why the right click map is over here, but that's what keeps happening to me. Where is? Okay, I want 2D tiles, tile palette. Rectangular? Is this how I do this? And then I say this thing adds a component. What did he say? Hold on, let me go back. Where'd my video go? Oh no, where'd my video go? Not that one, the other one.
The good one, damn it.
Tiny noses, large hats. Oh, keep them off the trail. Safe light replace, safe light repair.
We can replace your windshield and recalibrate your advanced safety system.
I think you said that
Stay
backwards.
safe with Safe Light. Schedule now.
It's repair safe life, replace safe life.
Safe light repair, safe light replace. That's right.
Hello, everybody. Chris here.
Do you think if I, instead of getting an ad blocker, start paying for YouTube, that'll make FanSite more angry about my advertisements.
Now to
If you're still getting advertisements after paying for it, yeah, I'd probably be angry too.
we have to create an object for that.
No, no,
You
no.
just
Just
signed it on the wrong
So I'm
account.
going to right-click in the scene.
no, I haven't paid
tile
for it
map,
yet. I got
and go down
YouTube
to
TV,
2D
not
object, tile map,
okay.
and then choose rectangular.
Okay, good.
So
I did
generally
that.
Speaking, when I'm building my tile maps inside of Unity, I'll create one tile map that is for
How do you get
no
ads if you have
collision
YouTube
tiles, and
TV?
then
YouTube TV is separate from YouTube Premium.
Oh, that's really cringe.
Yeah. But
YouTube TV is way more expensive.
Yeah, but I feel like it should just be an add-on to premium.
YouTube TV is cheaper than like cable TV, so
Yeah.
I can see them not having the budget or whatever to do it. I don't know what licensing costs on the back end of those TV things, but it is. We currently have Spotify Premium, so it's like I'm gonna switch that to a premium YouTube family plan, so I get that YouTube music.
Yeah.
then one that is for collision tiles. So you can even have more than two. And that
Your
may
parents
make
were thinking
sense
of
as
getting
you
it?
go along.
I love the YouTube TV experience so far. The only thing that I can foresee being a potential is the fact that a recording auto deletes itself after 9 months and there's nothing you can do about it. But you can have unlimited amounts of recordings, so that's pretty nifty.
For sorting purposes. For right now,
And it's gotten me back into WWE. I'm so happy. Like it's made me quite joyful
I'll just call
recently.
this tile map, no collision, and I'm gonna duplicate it, and then I'm gonna right-click on it and
Oh, interesting. Hold on. Wait a minute. I missed something here.
hierarchy, and go down to 2D object.
I'm gonna
tile
rename
map,
this.
and then choose rectangular. So generally speaking, when I'm building,
I know you
tile
didn't
maps
watch the
inside of
Puppet Meat
Unity,
video,
I'll
Serranus, but it
create
was
one tile map
unreasonably
that is
bad.
for no
Mhm.
collision tiles, and then one that is for collision tiles. You can even have
The
more
one
than
about,
two, and that may make sense as you go
Lolicon and
along.
shit.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. Hold on.
Like
Rename.
the thing, even bring up Ilulu from a Dragon Maid. He brought her up because allegedly everyone's like, no, it's okay for this character because they're 1,000 years old or whatever. Like that's an example for the 1,000-year-old defense. But I haven't seen anyone make that claim. I think it's just
Oh,
okay because they big.
Yeah, I think she doesn't look like a child really because she has tits that are bigger than herself.
Yeah, he's like, he claims they act like a child, and it's just like, okay, but like they don't. And then he even claims like, but in the show they don't even state her age, and it's like, yeah, but we know like bits about her past, so we know she's like about Toru's age.
Yeah, isn't Ilulu like by definition short stack?
Yeah.
Your parents got Spectrum stream cable. It's been no time walking them through it. Oh my goodness. I have never heard the word Spectrum in a positive light. Like I've had my issues with Xfinity from time to time, but like at the end of the day, they give me some lightning fast connection when I need it. But no, I just anytime Spectrum. I'm on Spectrum and everyone's just like, "Oh,
I'm
I
on
get it.
I'm on Spectrum.
I'm on the Spectrum."
For sorting purposes. For right now, I'll just call this.
And he
tile
brings
map,
up Sailor
tile
Moon.
map,
Well, he brought
no
Sailor Moon
collision,
before,
and
but
I'm
like
gonna duplicate it,
Sailor Moon, it's a fun
and I'm
show, but
gonna
then you're like
right-click on it and rename this
14-year-old girls
tile
with
map
hundreds of
collision.
panty shots.
So
It's
in
kind
order
of
for the tile map
weird, you know what
collision
I'm
to
saying?
have collisions on
Weird.
it, we need to add a tile map collider.
And that's the only
component.
point he
So click
makes.
on
It's
add
weird.
component in the bottom right,
It's kind
and
of
then type
weird,
in
dude. It's
tile
kind of
map.
weird,
You should be able
man.
to find the tile map.
And so yeah, when those are the only two examples he brings up of like actual lolly and anime, I'm just like, okay, dude, I don't care. You're not saying anything.
Yeah.
Map collider 2D. So this will automatically create the collision shapes whenever you draw a tile onto your game map. So
Thank
now
you.
for how you actually draw the tiles onto the screen, let's go to Window, and then down
Apparently
to
it was,
2D,
Alex.
and then
Sailor Moon was
open
your
the
first
tile
section.
palette. Okay, so this is another window where you can select tiles and then paint them onto your tile maps. So I'm going to left click on the name here where it says tile palette, and I'm going to drag it into the same window area where the inspector and collaborate are.
Okay.
So this window will just sit next to those now.
Yeah, it
before
was
we create the
clear
palette,
everything
it's
he was
important
talking
to
about
note
was just
that
from
when we drag
r/animal.
all of
Like
these
anything
assets
brought up
into
there in the
here,
past
it's gonna
maybe week or
create
two,
one
he was
tile map
bringing up for that
object
video.
for every
Yeah.
single tile.
And so I think
right
someone made
now
a
they're not
post about
actually
like
split up.
the
So in this
exact
case,
number of
for this
panty
pack,
shots
that's
in
going to
Sailor
mean
Moon.
having about 185, 190
Or something like that he was
individual
bringing up.
tiles, and that could really fill up a folder if you just stuff everything in the same one. So I'm going to right click here and create a new folder.
Oh wait, hold on.
And I'm going to call this.
Wait, sorry, going too fast.
You can select it.
I skipped ahead, and I need to go back to how to break out these because I want to turn this
The most
into
important settings
4
for Pixar is
squares.
going to be to change the filter mode
Yeah.
from the linear to
Good.
point, and the compression quality from normal quality to none. These are
Mr.
important
Honest, what are
so
you
that
up to?
Pixar art will actually look like Pixar, and there won't be any
I'm not doing
distortions
really
or
anything.
blur in the
Fair
pixels.
enough.
It'll just
Spreadsheets.
show each pixel crisp. So do that.
He's
go ahead
planning a
and
new
hit
Fire
apply.
Emblem run.
And if you're bringing in an asset as a sheet, and if you're bringing
Point
do
and
that
what was
in
it?
quality from normal quality to none. These are important so that the pixel art will actually
Oh,
look like
apply.
Pixar, and there won't be any distortions or blur
There we go.
in the pixels. It'll just show
Okay.
each pixel crisp. So do that. Go ahead and hit apply. And if you're bringing in an asset as a sheet,
I
if you're
am.
bringing in an asset as a sheet like this,
True.
then you're going to need to slice up the sheet into
Yep.
individual sprites. So I'm going to change sprite mode. I'm going to change this to
Multiple.
Then I'm going to
Oh.
click on sprite editor.
16.
And then click apply to apply that change from single
Dude, the
to
funniest shit I
multiple
saw on that Gel Apocalypse
So
thread,
opening up the
Serranos,
sprite editor,
Yeah.
someone
there's a
had
bunch of assets
posted
here, and we
that
need to slice those into individual
Vanessa
assets. So click
is
on
a good
slice,
flyer,
and then I'm gonna
but her
change from
best
type of thematic
promotion
to
is
grid by
Wyvern
cell
Knight,
size.
so it doesn't even
Since
count
this
as a
is meant to be
Pegasus
tile
Knight.
set and assets that fit on
Well, that's
individual cells.
still wrong, but
It's still
want
wrong,
to
but then I
bring
went
it
and
into
checked the
pixel size
stats,
16
and
by 16,
by all
and hit
accounts,
slice.
Falco Knight is
So now,
better
as you can
than
see,
Wyvern Knight.
It doesn't matter. It
That's
doesn't matter
true.
what you promote her into. And she's still a Pegasus, even if you make her a Wyvern.
That is true. I agree with that statement.
Okay. Save. So now I did it. I have these things now.
Now it's split.
Tile palette.
No, Alex, I would have said Quetzal if I was talking about Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl?
I would have said Lulacoa if I was talking about Lulacoa. I was talking about Ilulu.
Radio dramas have no ads. What are you talking about?
What?
They always
This
have
episode of The Shadow is brought to you by Ovaltine. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah, and then they'll pause for ad breaks. They'll still have ads. You'll hear about how nicotine is destroying the black community. I always got those ads because I was close to Oakland.
Every single square where there is an object.
Okay,
has
so I got
one
that
slide.
right. We
Now
made the
to
tile map.
draw these assets on right now, lighter 2D. So now for how you actually maps. So I'm going
Here we
to
go, tile
Man,
palette.
menthol
all of these
cigarettes,
assets
the
into here.
anti-menthol
It's gonna
cigarettes
create
ads were the
one
worst.
Tile map object for every single tile. So right now they're not actually split
How?
up. So in this case, for this pack, that's going to mean having about 185, 190 individual tiles, and that could really fill
But
up
you
a
get
folder if
both,
just stuff
fan
everything
site.
in the same one.
You get both.
So I'm going to right click here and create a new folder, and I'm going to call this
I always said
tiles. I
Quetzalcoatl,
could even
but
put a second nesting where I have to gather explore path
might be
related files,
maybe the
and
pronunciation is supposed to
a
be.
tiles folder specifically for
Oh,
that
what was
path
this guy say again?
to
Wait,
another
double
nesting
check.
folder, but just whatever works for you in
Quetzalcoatl.
terms of your organization.
I don't know.
That-
It's
So
a
now we
weird
can go ahead
word.
and
So.
create a new palette.
Yeah,
Something
that's
important
probably
to
it.
keep
I
in
think
mind is
everyone on
gonna
the show
be,
just calls her
in the
Lulacoa.
inspector, when you click
Yeah.
on your pack, the pixels per unit here. So in this case, I designed this art asset for every square to be 16 by 16 pixels. So that is 0.16 for every 100.
Okay, so I
So
guess
if we
if you
took
want to
that
make
as
the
a
argument, you could be
ratio
like, oh,
to
but she's always
pixels
hanging
per
out with the
unit, that would be
teenager.
0.16.
Lulacoa is always
And we
hanging
need
out with
to
the
know that
toddler.
ratio when we are creating the tile palette, so that when we're placing squares,
Yep.
that one
Like,
object actually fits into the
no
squares.
one gives a fuck about
So
the
let's
age
go ahead and
gaps
click
or
on
like
tile
the
palette,
mental age gaps.
and then click on create
People aren't
palette.
hanging out with
Then
people
we go
their
to
own age in
cell
that
size
show.
here, and do manual, I'm going to do 0.16 and 0.16.
Or relative age. If
So
you want to
this
be
will
like, oh,
make
well,
the cell
Cannon's
size
just a kid
correct
dragon. She's
compared
like
to the
500.
size of
Like,
the
yeah,
tiles
I
that we're
agree.
about to create. So I'll rename the palette.
Why does it keep sending me to the
Vendors
assets folder?
Explorer, and let's go ahead and hit create. And I'll create the palette into this folder. So let's just go ahead and choose.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the next thing is going to be to take all of our assets and put them in this area so that we can fill the palette with tiles. So I'm going to left click hold and drag this image over to here. You can zoom out.
I don't
with
think
the
I'm
mouse
speaking
wheel,
too low,
and
Alex.
you can see
If you're
that the
referring to
shape
me.
of this is pretty much going to correspond to the shape of the.
No, I've just been talking to nothing. I have no idea what you're saying.
So you can
Man,
just
I've been
pop
fighting
forward,
battles
click go,
over here.
and then it's going to try to.
I've been boxing
create
shadows,
tiles
and you're
Yeah,
just
you've been
for all
telling
ain't
me
saying
about
shit.
stuff that you
file.
told me about on
So
Discord.
let's generate the tiles into the folder. As you can see, I'm putting it into the tiles folder, which we already created. So I'm going to hit choose here.
But I
And
didn't
it'll
tell you
take a
about True
minute to
Detective Season
actually
4 now,
generate
did
the
I?
files,
I don't want to
so
hear about True
you can
Detective.
just come
Damn
back
it.
in a second. Now, when we click on
That's
an
all I did
asset and
say.
we want to draw it onto our grid, we may notice that the asset is
Why are
not
you even
actually
watching
filling
that? It's like
one whole
there's
square.
so
Oh,
much
because I
anything
family,
else you could
family
watch.
members were
Is
watching
if
it,
you
and it
click on
finally
the
ended,
grid
so I
and
caught
you
up.
go to the inspector, you can change the cell size. So a unit of
It's not a
1.0
good
by
excuse.
default is
It's not a
100
good
pixels.
excuse to be
If we click
watching
over to the
something
art,
to
then
talk
you'll
about
see
it with
pixels
people.
per unit defaults
No.
to 100 as
Well,
well.
if they're people your
So
family
we want
members
to
with.
have 16 pixels.
I don't watch stuff
in
my
each
mom
square that we're gonna draw.
watches. I don't watch
So I
stuff my
want to
dad
take the cell
watches.
size and bring that
But I
down to
started the show with
0.16,
my
and
mom,
then 0.16
so like I kind of
All
have
my
to.
grandparents
now, each
like
of the
watch
individual cells are going to fit 16 pixels.
Wheel of
now,
Fortune.
Oh.
I don't watch Wheel of Fortune. It's like, what was it they were talking about last time? It's like, yeah, Wheel of Fortune. I don't watch Wheel of Fortune.
I mean, I think it's a little different.
No, I think it's the same thing. It's watching the same thing as somebody else to bond with.
Yeah, but you're talking about like an episodic show, and I'm referring to like this. What do you call it? Serialized?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's the right word. But yeah, by the end, it was just spitting on the grave of a good show. So I got annoyed. I think everyone got annoyed collectively.
Overwrite. Okay. Weird. What,
Weird.
everyone got annoyed about what? The heck's going on?
True Detective Season 4. They started quoting shit from the first season. Like like the villains started saying iconic quotes from the first season, and everyone was just like not having it. Everyone who
Gotcha.
saw the
assets
first
that
season,
we
because
draw
it's
from
really
this
good.
pack, which are designed for 16 by 16, are going to fit these squares correctly. So on the tile map, no collision, I can select my grass tile, and I'll just start drawing a box. And then you can start left-click holding and dragging these individual squares onto the map. Now, as you can see, this covered the
We got
area.
phone, Alex. Welcome.
Do you want to talk about True Detective? Because if so, I'd rather kick both of you rather than listen about True Detective Season 4.
I already talked about it with Leon, so we're chilling.
He'll come to us any day now.
Yeah.
He's working his way in.
Now going to Alex with the weather.
Okay. Move this. So now we're gonna do a CS. The heck is a CS object? Click, 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 click. Oh, our camera was on? It was on the whole time? Yeah. Hey, we hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh, I'm on my headphones. I just couldn't. I could not hear it.
Racist.
Why would I say something racist?
I don't know. There's been a lot of people being racist in the Niji Sanji drama.
I would not do that on this channel.
Thank you.
So you admit you're a racist, just not here.
Oh, there's a lot of alien cultures I don't like. So yeah,
Man, there's so many non-Earthian cultures that I don't like.
I read a
Can't
lot of
stand them.
Warhammer. I'm
You know
very.
those Mars people? Not about it. The
He's
Tau,
part of the Imperium.
hate them.
I can't
40K.
stand. I don't
Chaos,
like elves.
they ain't all right. The Chaos ain't all right, man.
Okay, but elves aren't that bad.
Speak for
I'm looking
yourself.
up this character you're talking about.
Yeah, Ilulu from Dragon Maid.
Ilulu. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And what's
Lulu specifically. She's
I-
short, red
I
hair,
can type it in.
and then she has gigantic yabos, like enormous.
is she the one with the business suit working at
No.
the store?
Nope, red
Okay,
hair,
that's the one with the big.
super short.
Yeah, we're talking
She
about
does
red
work
hair.
at a store, but she shows up like this.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh my! Your stream on the TV is
Show
very
her
delayed.
from the side. Show her from the side.
Hold
You show it from behind.
Profile shot.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
like
the
behind.
Okay, I know her. Okay.
Those are her giant flame sacks.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have said the what you call it? That's the other daughter that's bad.
Yeah, that's a Lulu from the side.
I don't think she's related to Toru, is she?
No,
think
they're not
she's the other
related, but
daughter.
they're the same age and they fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they're from different families, but they are like rivals or whatever.
Hold on, there's a GIF. Let me preview it before I vosh myself on stream.
Already one step ahead of Vosh.
No, that one's not going out. God.
Yeah,
It's
she
just
has
straight up
giant.
the high school DxD ending GIF that always goes around.
Being
I'm sorry, G. If you said that in chat.
Don't apologize to Jemir. Look at that stupid mug on his face.
Dude,
I always
that's
apologize.
C
I'm a good
sharp.
person.
What the hell? Class board. Why does it have CX? Oh, because I wrote that wrong. Original. Oh, get out of here. Exit. Oh, dang it.
Oh, are you going to have like mounted characters?
Yeah, potentially. That's been
Okay.
something I've been wondering is if how difficult it'll be to make horses actually mountable as opposed to like a part of a character.
Well, yeah, because the way Fire Emblem did it when you could dismount was the horse wouldn't really count for, it wouldn't be its own thing. It would just be tied specifically to the character, and if they were mounted, they would get a little bit more stats, and they would have better movement and possibly different weapons.
Yes, but they would be weaker to certain weapons because horses.
I was gonna ask because Serranos, you probably demoed a lot of those games. Do a lot of them actually have like horse mounts, or a lot of them are just like walking around?
I don't think there was any game that had like mountable horses actually that I played.
Oh, really?
Like, I didn't get to a point in like any survival game. The one game that I did play that did have a mount was a survival game with a giant mech, and that was like the core concept of the game is that you're piloting this mech around this alien world. You're kind of like a colonist.
Wow, that's racism
An
right there.
Yeah, exocolonist.
Yeah, BRB.
You're just providing that planet democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what they need at the end of the day. Okay. Let's see. What do I gotta do? So we are gonna do yoink. Okay, here we go. What does this say? Visual Studio. This monitor's closer. Your license has gone stale. What do you mean? Oh my goodness. Oh god, I don't know what my password is for.
Wow, there's articles about her age. Just scrolling down. Of course, it's going to Reddit.
Oh, email code? Night, American.
Make sure to use infinite if-else statements like Yandev.
Yeah, that's the only way to really make a game.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a loop. I don't even, you know how like pirate coding or pirate software?
Pirate
What's his name?
software.
He's like, look, here's my password. And it's like an image or whatever. My secret is I never remember passwords.
Oh, you don't have like a
Nobody can
composition
get your
notebook
password
somewhere?
if you don't remember what they are.
Nope.
Whose wife has that? That's in our Circle Jerk content creators. They have a composition notebook of passwords.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
see,
don't believe in those websites, so I just have it in a notebook.
okay. We've updated your license successfully. Sweet. Okay.
Did you give us your credit card?
I did. I gave it all of my credit card.
All right.
I don't need to do any. There's no voids because I'm just building. This should build the board.
Your real name is Benjamin Franklin.
Everybody knows me. The old Frankie Ben. Public. Another game object. And we're gonna do what did I just call them? Red and blue? Yeah, blue. Red. Boom. And then what did those end up getting called? Oh no. I use these? Or do I use these? Should probably use this. Rename. Square.
Hola, I have returned though.
Welcome back. Wait, are these what is this? Inspect? It is a sprite. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't add the grandma to the list. PVS.
No, grandma didn't make it over.
Oh my goodness, I'm very saddened by that.
It's
A
alright.
tragedy, really.
Grandma's such a bitch right now. I don't want
I know, right? I had a feeling you weren't
Hey, you
gonna
mean
like
from
that.
Hokkaido Gals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I actually knew both of my grandmas on both sides, and one of them, great, loving, awesome, and the other one was Hokkaido grandma.
Oh yeah, I think all of us can relate to this.
And you're
to
just
her.
like, God damn, are you serious right now?
Yeah. And I was like, that has to be a culture thing. Here I am, third in the class. Did you see that score, right? Third in the class.
Exactly.
And her face is just like okay. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Out of what, 147, 187 students? And she just gives you this shit looking face? I'm like, just do some trouble. He's gonna be a timid cuck at the end of this manga if she's
That's
something
why
has to
Japan
happen.
can't have guns. Otherwise, he'd commit suicide. That's what they're worried about, the crazy grandmas.
No congratulations. No, I'm gonna make you a special tea. Or, no, it's just okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I don't need this. They're all the same. Okay. I don't need this one because I'm not doing material change on those. Why does it have a comma? Oh, because it's an expandable. CS, do that. Need special attach our prefabs, the associated fields within the game manager. Okay. So now if I'll download you later, maybe, if you're lucky. So now I save this. Complete the domain. Now if I look at this, I can do blue. Is blue. Wait. Default. Oh, I can only pick chest background? Wait, why can I only pick chest background? Why does that get to be picked? How do I make this? What did I do to make that work? Import. Create 2D sprites. Square. And this will be blue. Pixels per unit.
Is the Hashira training arc already in theaters? Is that what I'm seeing?
It's supposed to be next week.
Yeah, I thought so.
Japan-wise.
YouTube just giving me fake ads then.
Sprite editor.
I'm going to read chapter 107.
Nope, it says it's now playing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I can go down the street and see it.
I'm not going to go. I think it's going to be 2 episodes again.
Yeah, it's
nope,
2
they said
and 2,
they're only
I think.
doing 1 episode recap, so it's going to be like 4 episodes.
Oh, they're only doing
God.
1 episode recap. Oh, that's a great movie to watch.
Mhm.
Episode recap.
I warned Blaine last year about it, and I guess he didn't see that chat.
No, I missed
His
that one.
review stream, he was like,
And then I
me
had
and
to
the
like
wife were
explain.
upset by this.
It's an hour and 40 minutes. They're only recapping 1 episode, so it sounds like 3 episodes, new content.
So I just get there an hour late instead of
Yeah.
half an hour late.
At least 30
It is insane to me how movies have gotten to the point where it is over half an hour of ads.
Yes,
Like,
I used
start
to.
time.
My friend used to get on me about that. He used to say I was lying about it. I used to go in there with my stopwatch on my watch,
Mhm.
and it'll be 35, 40 minutes of freaking trailers and ads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you showed up to the movie on time. You lost.
And you still have people coming in late.
I mean, you should, honestly. They still
I mean,
sell
yeah,
tickets,
now.
like 10 minutes after.
Prefabs? Wait, hold on. We can prefab these pieces and delete them from the hierarchy to be sure just the pixels per unit. So their widths and heights are 1, 1, units, blah, blah, blah. Made 12 sprites, 6 in white, 6 in black. So if I...
Let me check if it's out Sunday for me, because I can go up.
I click this.
They also have fucking Advent children playing nearby.
Advent
Due
Children?
to
Yeah,
What's that
Final
do?
Fantasy
Slayer.
VII, the movie Advent Children.
Dude, is that the one with the bad CGI?
I have no idea. Probably.
Advent Children at the time felt really good. I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't right now.
It's 1 and 1. One had good CG, the other was low budget.
Could be either.
I think it's the yeah. Because we had like 2 Final Fantasy movies within like a year.
At least everyone loves Madam Web.
Oh, it's so good, so good.
You didn't watch it.
No, she
Yeah.
ended up walking into Abbeville. What's the Ardville?
Sure.
That's the one she ended up walking into. because it was Madam Web was so bad. She
Oh,
just left the theater.
who was it that did that?
No, this is our coworkers. We're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
what I was curious. Yeah,
They're
she ended up
they're
walking
looking
into
into
Argyle.
yeah Argyle. She ended
Yeah,
up
she was
she
like,
just
"I'm gonna walk over to Argyle instead."
yeah it was that bad.
I would rather see Cat Spy movie. Not the good one, Cats versus Dogs. The other one.
I watched Wonka.
Did you feel represented?
In the Cats movie, I haven't watched any Cats movie. Last time I saw Cats was in the '90s in New York City.
No, I meant because you're short.
I'm not short.
Look, I'm just saying, you and Serranos would feel right at home with the Oompa Loompas.
Gee, I didn't end up seeing it. I got called into work. I was gonna go see Wonka.
Oh.
Create empty drag and drop this.
That's sad.
Create prefab. Blue one. This prefab, can I add a... That doesn't make any sense. What the hell is wrong with this tutorial, man? It's like, we create empty game objects for each of these pieces. Import these sprites with the sprite editor into our assets folder, okay? Then assign each sprite to the matching game object. We can create prefabs out of these pieces and delete them from the hierarchy. Be sure to adjust the pixels per unit in the inspector when importing the sprites so that their widths and heights are 1:1. Okay, yours are set to 256. Create prefabs out of these. So there's, okay, if I create prefab, or if I right click on this, can I say make prefab? If I right click on
I can.
Here's a new prefab that I've just created. Add a component. Oh, hold on. Can I add a sprite component?
Actually, I could watch it Sunday, the 3 o'clock show. I'll watch it
You could
dubbed.
also watch American Fiction.
That is limited, very limited. Like not
Yeah, I
even in this
noticed.
state.
I really want to see it, but it isn't in the
Me
theater.
too.
Yeah. They're
I'm
actually doing
wondering if
another
it's
run
bait
of
and
it,
switch.
but it's near my parents' house, not near me, so I'm kind of screwed.
It's not that.
Yeah, it's not that important to go out of your time to see.
Yeah, it'll probably end up on a streaming service sooner than later.
Yep. Like I'm going all the way out to Charlotte for Dune 2 because there's no IMAX. There's like 3 IMAXs in North Carolina, Raleigh, Charlotte, and maybe the Air Force Base. That's it.
You'd really want to? You'd go to the Air Force Base to watch it?
There's like a thing. Yeah, they have like a. I don't know if it's still. I don't know if it's closed, but yeah, they actually have a big screen.
Oh, I can give it a sprite. Okay.
Yeah, the rest
Okay.
are just Limax.
Rename blue char. Okay. And duplicate. Where the hell is duplicate on this? Oh my gosh, there's just not a duplicate button.
Definitely has to be, right? It's
You
just-
would think.
You just don't know where it is.
It says create, show and explore, open, delete, rename, copy path, open scene additive, view and package manager, import new asset, import package, export package, find references and scenes, select dependencies, refresh, re-import all, extract from prefab, update UXML schema, generate lighting, open C# project, view and import activity properties.
Did anyone watch the Nintendo Direct?
No, it was just like supporter stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a bunch of subscribers put in their thumbnails no Switch 2, so I didn't watch.
But it
That
was
was nice of them.
specifically not for new consoles.
Yeah, it was just like games that are coming to the platform.
Yeah, it was partner games.
I think they're redoing the
I just
evil
control C,
Mario
control V
again.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I saw they're doing a SMT5 enhanced edition or whatever, adding new stuff, new routes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got blue char, I got red char. Blue char goes here. Okay.
What was it? Epic Mickey again?
The paint
Were they
one?
remaking that?
I think I saw that on a couple Discords.
Also, was it both of them or just the first?
Let me look again. I think it was the first. There's been how many remakes has it been?
I think they just announced the remake a bit ago, but this would be the only one.
Mm.
Okay. Drag all those in. Board. Script. Tile prefab is just the square.
Okay, it's the 2010 version.
Yeah, that's the original, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the first.
that's sweet. Epic Mickey's pretty good.
I didn't really think it was that good, honestly. I played it on the Wii.
It was on the Wii.
I played both
Yeah.
of them. I thought it was fine, but I didn't think it was really that good.
Most games were good on the Wii.
That's false.
Why is that false?
Agree to disagree, I guess, Ron.
Why would most games on the Wii be good?
They just were.
They were like
Every
designed
time
for the
something-
Wii, and like just something about them being built for this toy made it so that they didn't like try to do something that they couldn't, you know?
I mean, yeah, because a lot of the games were intentionally not. They didn't try to really make them much of a game at all. A lot of them were just cash-in games, just shovelware.
All right, the
If you
Wii
want to say
games-
most of the games you played on Wii were good, yeah, that's fair.
Okay, is that how I need to word it?
All right, the boomers loved Wii Sports.
They did.
Yeah.
It was. I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty age universal, right? As a game.
Super true.
Galaxy. What else?
Super Mario Galaxy. Yep, that was great. But
Yeah.
you're forgetting the Blob.
You forgot the blab. But the blob
Look,
doesn't
the
forget
French
you.
people did one thing that was good. It was the Blob. I liked Color Hitler. Okay, Color Hitler was a fun character.
And of course, Twilight Princess.
Square work up to age 8 at 7/7. We can use 2D.
Yeah, I heard Skyward Sword was better than Twilight Princess.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, Sword was on Wii.
Public game.
I just can't imagine a Zelda game with Wii motion controls being bad.
Leon just talked about it, I think.
Yeah, but I think he's coping.
No, the Skyward Sword like Wii controls weren't really any fun. I didn't like doing that because it didn't really register that well.
I think you just didn't master the blade. Okay.
Oh,
You were even younger than me, so you didn't understand.
I was even younger than you. I didn't play the game. I just like to imagine that if I had, I would have been great at it.
Oh, Skyward was
It doesn't really matter
what?
how good you think you would be.
That was 2011, 2010 was Skyward?
I think that's cool.
Yeah, you were like 10 years old.
0. Still something
Oh.
on the teat.
Angry Canadian, he said that Skyward Sword had shit motion controls.
Twilight Princess is peak Zelda.
OOT.
I disagree with that word, but it is
Wrong.
definitely
Spirit
well
is
above Skyward Sword.
Resident Evil was peak Legend of Zelda, if I'm going to be honest.
You don't know how true the words are you speak.
Honestly, I don't think I've played a Resident Evil game I didn't like. I think Leon is massively overrating how bad
6.
Resident Evil 4 is because
I didn't like
different.
6.
Well,
You've
I
always-
also haven't played 5 and 6. I know those are
Yeah.
I know 6 is widely regarded as trash.
Common
The only
Discord
issue with
arguments.
is the camera. The camera hurts so
Yeah.
much. in 5.
Yeah, 5
But it
is
is
like not
four.
nearly as praised, but 5 is the one that or 6 is the one that everybody says is terrible.
Because 5 just shows up and you're like in an action game. You're not like playing a Resident Evil game for the first while in 5.
2 and 4 are the ones you get arguments on Discords about. I've noticed that on multiple Discords now.
Yeah, I
all
love
those
playing
Resident
2.
Evil
It was
fans.
awesome.
Yeah, they always argue over what's
Blaine,
better,
you don't
2 or
code.
4.
What?
Blaine, you don't code. Lol.
No, I
Well, yeah,
don't.
it was because 2 remake.
This is the first time I've
Didn't-
coded in forever,
Like
bro.
it had no backtracking, and that really pissed people off.
I did like 7. The family look the dinner scene. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
In VR was fucking awesome.
Oh, you played in VR. Of course.
Yeah, I did the dinner scene in VR. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, you played 7 in VR. Okay.
Isn't that the
Oh
only
my
way to play
God.
7?
No, I mean, it didn't
No,
originally
you
come
can play it.
VR.
Yeah.
You can play it in there.
But I'm sure it was a fun version.
Okay. So,
Man, I need to play Arizona Sunshine too. That
That's just a
sounds like good
shooter
time.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
one of the
zombie
first ones I
shooter in
played.
VR. It's just classic.
Yeah.
That's classic good time.
Angry
came out
Canadian,
with
do
it.
you code?
Let's switch this back around. Do you code Canadian?
Yeah.
I haven't.
You don't code, okay?
Look at that. I just completed a domain. Have you completed a domain?
Well, have you expanded it yet?
Have you
I was just
expanded
about to say that.
it?
Monitor. Board. Okay. Board.
Domain expansion. No, you don't code.
Board. Void start. Give it one of these. Goes to one of those.
Did you see my One Piece update earlier, Michael?
I think you were talking about Dress Rose. No, that was Leon.
Kizu or Kizu? Admiral Kizu?
Kizuar?
That's where I'm at.
Kizuar?
He just got introduced.
Nice. That
I'm
means you're
actually,
on shit, where are you at?
I don't know what arc they call it. Storm Barrier? I don't know. I don't know the name of it.
It's definitely not Storm Barrier.
I typed it on Pops' Discord.
I can check then. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
I think you're probably on either Thriller Bark, which
No, that's the one I almost that was my first time
Oh,
actually.
you're on Shabandi Archipelago. Right? Shabodi Archipelago?
Code my
Hold on, let me look at the channel.
I'm checking right now. You don't got.
Summit War Arc.
Oh,
You
okay.
did in
Summit War,
college?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did in college.
Oh wait,
too.
how
I
far are
played
you in
forever.
Summit War? Have you already gone past Impel Down?
I am officially in chapter 507, I believe. I finally hit one over 500.
I don't know those numbers. Are you past Impel Down?
I don't know what's that about.
Build and run.
Have you met?
It's Impel Down. That's literally the place.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
at
like-
an island with a bunch of pirates, and they're like giving you a bunch of backstory about Gold Roger. Like he had cancer or something.
Your folder.
I don't think
Going
you're
to
not there yet.
spoilers.
Build.
You ain't him. You haven't reached Impel Down yet.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm enjoying it because that Thriller Bark was boring as fuck. I almost about to just look at a summary and skip it.
Yeah, Thriller Bark is rough, but it introduces my favorite character.
You
Perona.
got I like Lola and Lola, Brooke, and someone else get introduced that I actually do like.
Perona.
Okay.
Nice. Angry Canadian got a job.
Good shit.
Oh, that's good. This is the one he did an interview in Japanese.
I think so.
That's cool. Congratulations.
What an amazing game Blaine
Dude,
created.
best game you've ever seen in your life.
You can afford more Pokemon cards.
So,
now.
what are you doing this, Blaine?
Nothing happens. It just
what
is,
are you doing in this game, Blaine?
unless you guys see something, then nothing happened.
I mean, all it did was
I saw the
load.
color yellow. What did you see?
The whole
Really,
thing
I
is
saw pink.
blue.
No,
On
I
my
think your color
TV,
blindness is getting worse.
I wear my blue glasses. I saw blue on my TV.
No, you see, that's cases with blue glasses. Did you take your pills, old man?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
Oh,
there's
wow.
some
2 a.m.
issue when I made these prefab things. I feel like this isn't correct.
Probably not.
Did the light just change?
But you're out of
Yeah,
time.
Oh, I
you're
got
out of
red
time.
lights. Yeah. All right, I'll do more research before next week, so that hopefully I can actually complete a thing. But no promises, because the whole point is that I don't have time to do this in my normal time, so I have to do it during stream time because I want to get this done sometime this century.
I'm sure you could do it.
I
You can
believe
get
in
your
me.
mind to it. I'm sure you can do it. Blaine.
With everyone shouting at me, "Come on, moron! I code your mom." I'm sure to do it. That's the best. It's the best way to get me to do it. All right, join tomorrow for some good old Stardew Valley, some anime reviews, and some fun mods that we'll cycle through. Plus, I moved all the characters' images when we talk to them up so that you can actually see them when I have a row of guests down below. So, got all that good, and we're ready to go. Catch you tomorrow. Kampai, everybody.